Doupo, outstanding intelligence. Starting by joining the chat group. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 176 Rescue and Shock. After a moment, the illusory hand returned to the Zhenwu Hall. In the middle of the illusory hand, there were two old men and a boy about 10 years old. Wuji, seeing the boy, Zhang Qiushan and Yin Susu were surprised. There was no doubt that the boy was the child of Zhang Qiushan and Yin Susu, and also the son of destiny in the world of the Heaven Sword and Dragon Saber. As for the two old men, they were the two masters of the Ruiyang Palace. The two Xuanming elders were caught by the illusory hand and tried to struggle desperately, but it was useless. They even wanted to take Zhang Wuji as a hostage and couldn't do it. Plop! Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and the illusory hand loosened and threw the two Xuanming elders on the ground of the Zhenwu Hall. As for Zhang Wuji, he was lightly placed next to Zhang Qiushan and his wife. Dad, Mom. Zhang Wuji threw himself directly into Yin Susu's arms, feeling the joy of surviving a disaster. Zhang Qiushan and Yin Susu held Zhang Wuji in the middle, and they were also very excited and happy. Wuji, I'm so glad that you're okay. Master Xiao, thank you for saving Wuji. After the family of three reunited, Zhang Qiushan reacted and bowed to Xiao Fan, expressing his gratitude. Yin Susu let go of Zhang Wuji, brought him to Xiao Fan, and urged him, Wuji, kowtow to Master Xiao and thank him for saving your life. Hearing this, Zhang Wuji knelt down in front of Xiao Fan without hesitation and kowtowed 3 times respectfully. Thank you for saving my life, Master Xiao. Xiao Fan waved his hand and sent out a gentle force through the air, helping Zhang Wuji up, and smiled. Good boy. No need to be polite. Zhang Wuji had just stood up, but his face suddenly turned blue and black, and he fell backwards. Yin Susu was quick to act and quickly hugged Zhang Wuji in her arms, and asked nervously, Wuji, what's wrong with you? Xiao Fan said, the two people who arrested Zhang Wuji are the two Xuanming elders, disciples of Bei'ai Taoist. Their best martial arts are called Xuanming Divine Palm. Zhang Wuji's current condition must be caused by the onset of the cold poison in his body. Zhang San heard what Xiao Fan said, stepped forward to take Zhang Wuji from Yin Susu's arms, stretched out his hands to check him, and then said in a deep voice, it is indeed the Xuanming Divine Palm. While speaking, Zhang San continuously transferred the pure yang internal energy in his body into Zhang Wuji's body to relieve the symptoms of the cold poison. After a while, seeing that Zhang Wuji's face was slightly relieved, Zhang San said to Yin Susu, you carry Wuji to the back hall first. After dealing with things here, I will find a way to treat Wuji's cold poison. Yes, Yin Susu agreed, and took Zhang Wuji to the back hall. Zhang San turned to look at the two Xuanming elders in the hall, and sighed, I didn't expect that the Taoist Bei'ai actually left a successor. Why did you capture my Wuji child? Is it also for the whereabouts of the dragon-slaying sword? Hearing Zhang San's words, the faces of the heroes in the hall changed. Lu Zhang said, let's not beat around the bush. We are indeed after the dragon-slaying sword. There is no need to lie like those famous and upright sects. Zhang San, what do you think? Zhang Qiushan said angrily, if you have anything to do, just come to me. Zhang Qiushan, why do you want to be so cruel to a child? There is no point in talking more, Lu Zhang replied casually, and then looked at Xiao Fan's position and said, was it this young man who just attacked? I don't know what kind of means he used. We brothers want to learn from him again. Biowang heard Lu Zhang's words and stood side by side with Lu Zhang, ready to attack at any time. Without waiting for Xiao Fan to speak, Yan Lingjai on the side said directly, you guys are worthy of provoking brother Xiao Fan, even I can kill you with a single blow. Humphrey, you are so arrogant. Biowang looked at Yan Lingjai's young appearance, but he didn't quite believe it. He couldn't help but snorted coldly when he heard it. Brother Xiao Fan, let me take care of these two guys. Yan Lingjai was furious when she heard what Biowang said, and said to Xiao Fan on the side. Xiao Fan smiled and said, okay, then you do it. Yan Lingjai's current cultivation strength has reached the realm of land immortals, which is already the peak strength. It is not difficult for her to deal with the two elders of Xuanming, so Xiao Fan will not compete with her. Thank you, brother Xiao Fan. Yan Lingjai thanked Xiao Fan, then stood up from her seat and walked to the middle of the hall. After casually looking at the two Xuanming elders, Yan Lingjai said disdainfully, "I'll give you a chance, do it, otherwise when I make a move, you won't have a chance to make a move." Looking for death, Lu Zhang and He Baiwang were furious when they heard this, and shouted loudly. Without saying much, they directly mobilized the sinister true energy in their bodies, waved their palms together, and attacked Yan Lingjai. In the Zhenwu Hall, people from Shilin, Kunlun, Kangdong and other sects did not take it seriously at first. After all, the Taoist Baijian happened decades ago, and many people in the world didn't know about it. Even the three great monks of Shilin Temple only heard of it. As for the two Xuanming elders, they had no impression of them, but when they saw the two Xuanming elders make a move, everyone felt a great pressure from the palm wind of the two people, and their faces changed. They didn't expect that these two unprepossessing guys were so strong. "Master, do you want to help?" Song Yuanqiao walked Zhang Sanfeng with a serious look and asked in a low voice. Zhang Sanfeng was a little hesitant when he heard this. After all, he had never seen Yan Lingjai take action and didn't know how strong Yan Lingjai was. Boom. At this moment, Yan Lingjai suddenly released an extremely terrifying aura. The terrifying aura pressed the people from all the major sects in the Zhenwu Hall. All of them changed their faces and had difficulty breathing. At the same time, two balls of blazing flames suddenly appeared around Yan Lingjai's body, directly wrapping Lu Zhang and He Baiwang in the flames. "Ah!" Lu Zhang and He Baiwang screamed in the flames. After a while, the two balls of flame suddenly disappeared, and Lu Zhang and He Baiwang turned into two balls of ashes. Hiss! Seeing this scene, a sound of people sucking in cold air suddenly rang out in the Zhenwu Hall. The people from the Shilin, Yudang, Mi, Kunlun, Kangdong and other major sects were all shocked. They never thought that Yan Lingjai, who looked weak and young, was so powerful, and her attack methods were so terrifying. Facing the terrifying flames, none of them could be confident that they could resist. Even Zhang Sanfeng was greatly shocked. With his strength, although it was not difficult to deal with the two elders of Xuanming, he could never do it as neatly as Yan Lingjai, who directly crushed the two elders of Xuanming to ashes. Yan Lingjai clapped her hands and said casually, "Today is the birthday of Master Zhang. My brother Xiao Fan and I, as well as all our friends, are here to celebrate Master Zhang's birthday. You guys better behave yourself, otherwise the two people just now will be your role models." Xiao Fan smiled slightly when he heard this, and took over the conversation and said, "What Yan Lingjai said is also what the rest of us mean. If anyone present has any opinions, you can raise them." Boom. After Xiao Fan finished speaking, he released 1% of his aura and pressed on everyone from various sects. Huangrong, Yan Lingjai, Qian and others on one side also cooperated with Xiao Fan and released some of their aura to press on everyone. Chapter 177 Timely Sign-In Rewards. When the people from Shilin, Kunlun and other major sects heard the threats from Xiao Fan and Yan Lingjai, they were all shocked and angry, but they didn't dare to show it on the surface. Before they could react, they sensed 19 terrifying auras pressing towards them, which made it difficult for them to breathe and almost died on the spot. Plop, plop, dot. A series of dumplings-like sounds rang out, and all the people from various sects who came to Yudang fell to the ground under the pressure of the terrifying aura. When the people from Yudang saw this scene, they were all shocked and stunned. Song Yuanqiao and his brothers only knew that Zhang Sanfeng had said that there would be distinguished guests coming today, but they didn't expect that these distinguished guests would be so terrifying one by one. I really don't know how there can be such a powerful existence in the world. Moreover, so many of them came at once. Fortunately, they are not enemies of Yudang sect. Otherwise, Yudang sect would be doomed today. Xiao Fan looked at the crowd and smiled faintly. It seems that everyone has no objection. The birthday banquet will continue. After speaking, Xiao Fan restrained his breath and sat down on his seat leisurely like an ordinary young man. When the others saw Xiao Fan restrain his breath, They also put away their momentum. After Xiao Fan and others restrained their breath, the people from the major sects immediately breathed a sigh of relief, feeling lucky to have survived a disaster. They staggered to stand up again, and their whole bodies were soaked with sweat. At this moment, they didn't even dare to look at Xiao Fan and his party. As for asking Zhang Qiushan about the whereabouts of Zigzhan, they didn't dare to mention it. If they were not worried that if they left at this point, Xiao Fan and others would think that they had no intention of wishing them a happy birthday, and would directly attack them, they would probably leave on the spot. Of course, they didn't mean to wish them a happy birthday, but they still had to do the face-saving work. Next, a banquet was slowly carried out in a somewhat awkward and tense atmosphere. As soon as the banquet ended, all the major sects, led by the Xiaolan sect, bowed to Zhongshan and said goodbye, and fled in panic. After rushing to the foot of Yudang Mountain, everyone's hearts finally settled down a little. He Taekong said solemnly, "You say, where did Yudang sect get so many terrifying masters?" Tang Wenliang, one of the 5 elders of Kongdong, frowned and said, "No one knows. I didn't expect Yudang sect to be so heathen." Amitabha, Xiaolan sect's Kongwen chanted a Buddhist name, and then sighed, "With the grand occasion of Yudang sect today, if it wants to unify the world, I'm afraid no one can stop it. As for Zhang Qiushan's affairs, we Xiaolan will not intervene from now on, so you can do what you want." After saying that, Kongwen turned around and left with several monks from Xiaolan sect. After the others looked at each other, they also went their separate ways and returned to their own sects. On the other side, inside the Yudang sect, after the people from the Xiaolan and other major sects left, the atmosphere suddenly became more harmonious. Yudang sect Song Yuanzhang and others, introduced by Zhongshan, greeted Xiao Fan and others again and expressed their deep gratitude. After the two sides exchanged pleasantries, Wang Teng was the first to say goodbye. This was the second time Wang Teng went to the world of other group members, but he felt a little disappointed. In his eyes, it was too low level. So, he was too lazy to stay longer. "Master Zhang, everyone, there are still many things to deal with in the court. Let's go back first. When you are free, you can also come to our world as a guest." After Wang Teng left, after a while, Zhu Yuanzhang also said goodbye. Zhongshan said, "Go slowly, Emperor Ming." Others also said a few polite words. Zhu Yuanzhang bowed to everyone and then returned through the chat group. Next, other group members also said goodbye to Zhongshan and returned to their respective worlds. In the end, only Xiao Fan, Xiaoxiao, Yan Linjai and Huang Rong were left. "Mr. Xiao, 3 girls, I will take you around Yudang Mountain," Zhongshan suggested to Xiao Fan and the other 3 with a smile on his face. Xiao Fan nodded slightly. "Okay, let's go see the scenery of Yudang Mountain." Xiaoxiao and the other 3 naturally had no objection to this. Zhongshan told Song Yuanzhang and his fellow apprentices, and then he personally served as a guide for Xiao Fan and the other 3 to enjoy the scenery in Yudang Mountain. While strolling in Yudang Mountain and enjoying the scenery, Xiao Fan did not forget the most important purpose of his visit to the world of Heaven Sword and Dragon Saber this time. System, sign in. Xiao Fan, as usual, silently instructed the system in his heart. Soon, the mechanical prompt sound of the system sounded in his mind again. Ding. Sign in successfully. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained an ancient body tree. Ancient body tree? Hearing the voice of the system, Xiao Fan could not help but feel pleasantly surprised. In the original novel, when Xiao Yan was at the level of 8-star Zun, he secluded himself under the ancient body tree for a month, realized the reincarnation of 100 lives, and directly broke through to the peak of the 9 transformations Zun. Xiao Fan was still thinking about how to find the ancient body tree, but he didn't expect that he would sign in an ancient body tree this time. It seems that there is no need to take the risk to find the ancient body tree in the original novel. However, thinking that the sign-in reward has nothing to do with the world level, Xiao Fan quickly accepted it. After signing in, Xiao Fan and a few others wandered around Yudang Mountain for a while, and then chose to say goodbye and leave. "Mr. Zhao, I will remember what happened today. If you need me in the future, just let me know," Zhongshan said solemnly to Xiao Fan before leaving. "Okay, I will," Xiao Fan responded with a smile. and then said, "By the way, let me remind you that in your world, the best way to recover from Zhang Wuji's current condition is to let him practice the 9 Yang divine art. The cold poison in his body can help him practice this technique better." Zhang San heard this and said with some difficulty, "But the 9 Yang divine art has been lost. I only memorized 1/3 of it back then, and I'm afraid it won't be effective." Xiao Fan said, "In the Kunlun Mountains, there is a Zhuwu Lianhun Manor. There is a cliff and a deep valley near Zhuwu Lianhun Manor. The 9 Yang divine art is hidden in the belly of a white ape in the valley. You can send disciples to search for Kunlun Mountains, or you can go there yourself, with Zhuwu Lianhun Manor as the center. I believe it won't take long to find it." Zhang San heard this and said quickly, "Thank you, Mr. Zhao, for your guidance. I've written it down." Su Xiaoxiao reminded at this time, although Zhu Qinlin and Wu Lai, the owners of Zhuwu Lianhun Manor, are the descendants of Master Yideng and the hero Gojing, they are both insidious villains. If you come into contact with Zhuwu Lianhun Manor, you must be careful. Zhang San bowed and said, "Thank you, Miss Su, for your reminder. I will keep it in mind." Xiao Fan smiled and said, "It's done. I'll leave now. See you next time. Goodbye, Brother Xiao Fan." "Goodbye, Master Zhao." Huang Rong, Yan Lingjai, Su Xiaoxiao and Zhang San also said goodbye to Xiao Fan. Afterwards, Xiao Fan and the 3 women returned to their own worlds through the chat group. After watching the 4 people leave, Zhang San turned around and went to the room where Zhang Wuji was. Chapter 178. The Soul Palace. Celestial Lord is coming. Key World, Lei. In the backyard of Wanbao Auction House, an illusory light door flashed, and Xiao Fan walked out of it and returned to his room. After returning to the room, Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and the whole person entered the source tower. Then, Xiao Fan put the ancient body tree that he had just signed and obtained from the system space into the source tower. I saw that the trunk of the ancient body tree was thousands of feet long, like a pillar connecting the sky and the earth. On that trunk, there was a dense ancient breath. The shade of the ancient body tree was extremely huge. If it spread out, it could cover a small part of a city. A stream of extremely rich and clear air spread out from the ancient body tree and rippled in the source tower, making the small world of the source tower change from time to time. All kinds of magical images. The ancient body tree has an extremely strong vitality that permeates the source tower. Standing in front of the ancient body tree, Xiao Fan suddenly felt a sense of relaxation and joy. This ancient body tree is very similar to the one that grew in the Qi world. However, the ancient body tree in front of him was not polluted by the negative emotions of the Di. As soon as it appeared, it was full of closeness to Xiao Fan. A branch fell down and gently rubbed Xiao Fan's shoulder, as if a human was stroking it with his hand. From the branch, Xiao Fan could feel the closeness and joy of the ancient body tree. "You stay here first. I will come to see you in a few days. Then I will ask you to help me break through." Xiao Fan stretched out his hand and patted the branch, smiling. "Hoo-la-la!" The ancient body tree trembled and made a crisp sound, as if responding to Xiao Fan's words. Xiao Fan was not surprised at all because he knew that the ancient body tree had a tree spirit. Although its intelligence was not high, it could still understand some simple meanings. Xiao Fan patted the branch of the ancient body tree again, and then his mind moved slightly and he left the space of the Yuanqi Tower. Xiao Fan was not in a hurry to break through the 9 revolutions Zun and seclusion because the hidden dangers of Lei had not been resolved. The Iron Guardian reported the general situation of Thunder City to the superiors of the Soul Palace. Now that it has been a few days, it is estimated that the people from the Soul Palace should be coming soon. Xiao Fan must first deal with this wave of people from the Soul Palace, and then retreat to break through the 9 revolutions Zun. In the next few days, Xiao Fan continued to stay in the auction house, while instructing Xiaoxiao and Qinglin on their cultivation, and he also practiced from time to time, waiting for the arrival of the people from the Soul Palace. On this day, Xiao Fan had just finished instructing Xiaoxiao on her cultivation, and suddenly sensed that there was a strong space fluctuation in the sky above Thunder City. A space wormhole suddenly appeared in the sky above Thunder City. From the space wormhole, an old man in a gray and white robe stepped out. "You stay here and don't go out," Xiao Fan told Xiaoxiao and the others, and his figure flashed and took off directly. Although Xiaoxiao and King Lin were a little worried, they knew that at this time, even if they followed, they would not be able to help, and might even drag Xiao Fan down, so they had to stay in the auction house. Xiaoxiao and King Lin clenched their fists tightly, and secretly made up their minds to practice hard and improve their strength as soon as possible so that they could help Xiao Fan next time. Xiao Fan naturally didn't know what Xiaoxiao and King Lin were thinking. He stepped into the air and soon appeared in front of the old man. Haha, it seems that you are the one who killed Han Feng and Zhuan Protector. By the way, there is also Tai Protector, who should have died in your hands, right? I didn't expect that such an outstanding young man like you could appear in this remote place in the northwest continent. It really surprised me. The old man saw Xiao Fan standing in the air and said with a smile, as if he was not here to seek revenge at all. Xiao Fan's eyes flashed slightly, and he said in a deep voice, "What is your name?" The old man chuckled and said, "You can call me the Star-Picking Venerable." The guardians arranged by the Soul Palace in the northwest continent were killed one after another, including the 8-starred Zong-level Earth-level Guardian Wu Protector, so the Soul Palace directly sent the Zun-level Star-Picking Old Ghost to check the situation. Star-Picking Venerable. Xiao Fan's eyebrows moved slightly when he heard this. He didn't expect it to be this person. In the original novel, when Xiao Fan went to the Soul Hall branch hall in the Dead Soul Mountains to rescue Yao Chen, he was the one who stopped him. Yao Chen called him the Star-Picking Old Ghost, and his strength was at the peak of the 5-starred Zun realm. When the Star-Picking Old Ghost heard what Xiao Fan said, he chuckled and said, "Since you're a talent, I can give you a chance, as long as you join the Soul Hall and work for the Soul Hall from now on. The fact that you killed Han Feng, Zhuan Guardian, and Tai Guardian can be forgiven." The Star-Picking Old Ghost inferred the situation based on the report from Tai Guardian. He didn't know that Xiao Fan killed Wu Guardian. Originally, the Star-Picking Old Ghost was going to find the murderer and kill him directly, but after seeing Xiao Fan's young face, he had the intention to recruit him. There has never been any friendship in the Soul Hall. If he could use a powerful man with potential like Xiao Fan to exchange for Han Feng and the other two, the Star-Picking Old Ghost felt it was a good deal. The old ghost Zixing didn't know Xiao Fan's true cultivation level now. He could only judge that Xiao Fan was at the Zong level, or perhaps a high-starred Zong, based on the fact that Xiao Fan was walking in the air, so he could kill Zhuan Hufa and Tai Hufa. Xiao Fan pretended to be puzzled and said, "What kind of power is Soul Palace?" In addition, the Tai Hufa said before he died that Soul Palace would never let me go. "You don't want to trick me into Soul Palace and then deal with me, do you?" While Xiao Fan was talking, he quietly set up a space barrier around the two of them. Xiao Fan's current cultivation level is 9-starred Zun, so it is naturally no problem for him to deal with the old ghost Zixing at the 5-starred Zun level. However, Xiao Fan was worried that before Zixing died, he would pass the news back here, and he didn't know what level the strong man sent by Soul Palace next time would be. Moreover, strong men above Zun don't need too much time to travel, and it is easy to tear the space, so he has no chance to develop at all. Therefore, in order to be safe, Xiao Fan pretended to be friendly with the old ghost Zixing while secretly blocking the surrounding space. Xiao Fan had taken the space origin fruit before, and his use of space power had long surpassed the limit of the Qi continent. If he was a little more careful, it would not be difficult to hide from the perception of the Star-Picking Ghost. Upon hearing this, the Star-Picking Ghost said disdainfully, "The power of the Soul Palace is beyond your imagination." Not to mention the small northwest continent, even in Zhongzhou, the Soul Palace is the best. Moreover, if I want to kill you, is it necessary to go through so much trouble? I will only give you one chance. Now answer me, do you want to join the Soul Palace? Boom. As the sound fell, the Star-Picking Ghost directly released the aura of a 5-starred Zun, pressing towards Xiao Fan. However, what surprised the Star-Picking Ghost was that Xiao Fan was not affected at all in the face of his powerful momentum. The Star-Picking Ghost's face changed slightly, and he suddenly felt something was wrong. "You are not Zhang?" Chapter 179 Crush and Deal with. Xiao Fan said calmly, "Did I ever say that I'm Zhang?" Boom. When the voice fell, Xiao Fan also directly released the powerful aura of the 9-starred Zun, and collided fiercely with the aura of the star-picking old ghost. Under the collision of the terrifying aura, the star-picking old ghost was directly shocked back hundreds of meters before he stabilized his body. The terrifying auras of the two collided, but no one in the Thunder City below noticed it, because in just a short period of time, Xiao Fan had successfully blocked the space where he and the star-picking old ghost were. At this moment, Xiao Fan and the star-picking old ghost were equivalent to being in an independent space. Unless the space blockade set by Xiao Fan was broken, any movement of the two could not be transmitted. You are actually a high-leveled Zun. How is it possible? The star-picking old ghost widened his eyes, his face full of disbelief. At the moment when Xiao Fan released his aura, the star-picking old ghost also sensed Xiao Fan's cultivation realm. At the same time, the star-picking old ghost finally realized that the surrounding space had been blocked, and he immediately felt something was wrong. Taking a deep breath, the old ghost Zixing said coldly, "Even if you are a high-leveled Zun, so what? How can I be afraid of you?" As soon as the voice fell, the pale palm of the old ghost Zixing stretched out from his sleeve, and the vast black fog surged, and instantly condensed into a huge black fog palm print of 10 feet, and slapped it hard in the direction of Xiao Fan. However, just when the black fog palm print was about to reach Xiao Fan, it slightly deviated to one side. This was not because the old ghost Zixing was kind and did not attack Xiao Fan, but because he was worried that he was not Xiao Fan's opponent, so he deliberately attacked the space blockade barrier and wanted to break the space blockade. In that case, no matter whether he won or lost, he would have room for maneuver. Seeing the old ghost Zixing take action, Xiao Fan did not hesitate to be polite with him. He opened his right hand slightly, and the terrifying thunder came out from his palm, and instantly condensed a huge thunder palm print, which met the black fog palm print of the old ghost Zixing. Boom! A shocking explosion sounded, and the black mist palm print from the old ghost Zixing was directly shattered by Xiao Fan's thunder palm print, and instantly dissipated into nothingness. Not only that, the thunder palm print did not slow down, and continued to bombard the old ghost Zixing. Seeing this, the old ghost Zixing's face changed slightly, his figure flashed, and he disappeared from the spot in an instant. A dry palm appeared silently behind Xiao Fan and bombarded Xiao Fan's back. Seeing this, Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and the thunder palm print in front of him automatically dissipated, and a thunder vortex suddenly formed behind him. The old ghost Zixing was unable to react, and his palm hit the thunder vortex. His palm was blown up by thunder on the spot. He couldn't help but let out a shrill scream and quickly retreated to the back. Xiao Fan turned slightly to face the direction of the old ghost Zixing, took a step forward, and instantly chased the old ghost Zixing. At the same time, he opened his 5 fingers, and a giant hand of thunder flashed again, grabbing the old ghost directly. Star-breaking knife. The old ghost Zixing looked solemn, and shouted fiercely. The vast fighting spirit condensed in the palm of his intact left hand, turning into a strange viscous substance, condensing into a ghost-headed sword. The sword was swung out, and the huge and sharp blade light of nearly 100 feet suddenly chopped down the giant hand of thunder. Buzz! Under the attack of the sharp blade light, the giant hand of thunder trembled slightly and became a little illusory, but it still grabbed the old ghost of Zixing. Seeing that his strongest skill failed to split the giant hand of thunder, the old ghost of Zixing looked very ugly, and wanted to dodge again, but found that he had been locked by the giant hand of thunder and could not move at all. In the desperate eyes of the old ghost Zixing, the giant hand of thunder quickly fell and directly caught the old ghost Zixing in the palm of his hand. Crackle! At the same time, a series of thunder flashed and struck the old ghost Zixing, making bursts of crisp sounds. The old ghost Zixing also screamed again, trying desperately to break free, but it was a futile struggle. Xiao Fan looked at the struggling and screaming old ghost Zixing, pondered for a moment, but did not kill him directly. On the Qi continent, the Soul Clan and the Soul Palace are undoubtedly the forces with the deepest research on the soul. It is hard to guarantee that they will not have any means to detect the death of the old ghost Zixing. After all, the old ghost Zixing is at least a celestial master in the Soul Palace, and it may be possible to leave some soul marks. If it was in Zhangzhou, it would not matter if the old ghost Zixing was killed casually, But this time the old ghost Zixing came to the northwest continent with a clear purpose, and there may be other high-level people in the Soul Palace who know it. Once they know that the old ghost Zixing is dead, they will definitely send a stronger person to investigate the murderer, which will be extremely disadvantageous to Xiao Fan. After thinking for a while, Xiao Fan went directly to the old ghost Zixing and abolished his cultivation. "Ah, bastard, Soul Palace will not let you go." The old ghost Zixing's cultivation was abolished, and he screamed and cursed, but he could only be incompetent and furious. Xiao Fan smiled faintly. "Then you don't need to worry about it. Now, look into my eyes." When the old ghost Zixing heard Xiao Fan's words, he couldn't help but look into Xiao Fan's eyes. This was naturally because Xiao Fan used the soul deterrence method. Xiao Fan asked calmly, "Did you tell other high-level people in the Soul Palace when you came to the northwest continent this time?" The old ghost Zixing responded woodenly, "Aye." Although the old ghost Zixing was very reluctant in his heart, he was uncontrollably facing Xiao Fan's questions and gave detailed answers. The two asked and answered, and soon Xiao Fan figured out the situation. The old ghost Zixing is now in a branch of the Soul Palace, and is considered a top-level figure. Before he came here, he only gave instructions to the guardian of the branch of the Soul Palace, but did not inform the headquarters of the Soul Palace. When Xiao Fan learned about this, he was a little relieved. He still didn't take the branch of the Soul Palace seriously. However, for the sake of caution, he still had to make some arrangements. After pondering for a while, Xiao Fan said to the old ghost Zixing, "After you go out, you will pass the message to the people in the branch of the Soul Palace, saying that the matter of the northwest continent has been resolved. You have received news that there is a pure lotus demon fire in the wild ancient territory, so you have to go to the wild ancient territory and will not go back for the time being." Yes, the old ghost Zixing was completely controlled by Xiao Fan's soul at this moment and could not object at all. Xiao Fan nodded with satisfaction, and then his mind moved slightly, lifting the space blockade, and directly controlled the old ghost Zixing with his soul to pass the message. Afterwards, Xiao Fan and the old ghost Zixing flashed into the Yuaki Tower. Hoo-la-la, the ancient body tree trembled when it saw Xiao Fan coming, and it seemed to be very happy. Xiao Fan smiled and said, "Body, please help me keep an eye on this guy. Don't let him die, and don't let him cause any damage. Understand?" The ancient body tree stretched out a branch and nodded vigorously, as if nodding in agreement. "I have something to go out first, and I will come to see you in 2 days." Xiao Fan smiled slightly, told the ancient body tree, and then left the Yuanqi Tower and returned to the auction house. "Master, have you dealt with the enemy? Are you not injured?" Seeing Xiao Fan coming back, King Lin hurriedly came to Xiao Fan and asked with concern. Xiao Yixian, Yif and Xiao Wu also carefully checked Xiao Fan's body. Chapter 180 Return to the Evil King's world and make a deal. Xiao Fan looked at the women and smiled. "Don't worry, I'm not injured at all, and the enemy has been controlled. There shouldn't be any more enemies attacking in the short term." The women breathed a sigh of relief when they heard this. Xiao Fan thought for a moment, and then said, "Next, I will practice in seclusion for a period of time, which is estimated to take about a month. For safety reasons, you should all stay in Canaan College during this period. As for the auction house, let's leave it to the people below to handle it temporarily. Ye Fi, you go and make arrangements." Ye Fi said, "But we have already announced the auction house's business hours, and there are only a dozen days left." Xiao Fan casually said, "Just re-announce it. It's safer to set the time in 1.5 months. "Yes, Master Xiao Fan." Ye Fi agreed immediately after hearing this. Xiao Fan nodded slightly and said again, "You should go and prepare first. After the auction house is ready, I will take you to Canaan College." "Yes, Ye Fi." Xiao Yixian and Xiao Wu agreed, and then went to prepare for the auction house. King Lin had no knowledge of these, so he stayed with Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan thought about it, and before he went into seclusion, he planned to refine some more pills for the people around him to take, so that they could continue to improve. Before, he searched the treasure house of the first young master of Jiuyu in the world of the otherworldly evil lord, and got a lot of spiritual medicines, but he hadn't used them yet. However, these spiritual medicines were different from those in the Dqi world, and the recipes in the Dqi world didn't match them. If they were just randomly matched and refined with an automatic alchemy furnace, it would be a bit of a waste of natural resources. After thinking about it, Xiao Fan decided to go to the world of the otherworldly evil lord again. King Lin, I suddenly remembered that I have something to go out for a while. You practice here first, and I'll be back soon. After making up his mind, Xiao Fan told King Lin, okay, master. King Lin has always been well behaved. Hearing Xiao Fan's words, he agreed without hesitation. Xiao Fan smiled and rubbed King Lin's head, then turned and left the room. However, before going to the world of the evil lord of other worlds, Xiao Fan was ready to talk to Mai Xuyan first, and immediately immersed his consciousness into the chat group of the 10,000 worlds. Xiao Fan, at Mai Xuyan, Miss Mai, I have something to do in your world later. Is it convenient for you now? Without waiting for Mai Xuyan to respond, others popped up first. Yan Lingjai, at Xiao Fan, brother Xiao Fan, why do you want to go to Miss Mai's world again? Is it because Miss Mai is too beautiful? When will you come to our world again? Naughty, Huang Rong, brother Xiao Fan can also come to our world. Expectation, Wan, Lord Thunder Emperor can come to our world at any time. People can wait for you in advance. Shy, Xiao Fan, ahem, I have something to do, don't make trouble. I will go to your world when I am free. In the world of the evil lord of other worlds, in the center of the heavenly punishment forest, Mai Xuyan was practicing as usual, and suddenly sensed the movement in the chat group, so she immersed her consciousness into the chat group. Seeing that it was a message from Xiao Fan, Mai Xuyan responded immediately. Mai Xuyan, it's convenient, I will invite Master Xiao right now. Xiao Fan, okay, the rest of you guys can chat first, I'll go do my business first. Xiao Fan casually sent a message in the group, then accepted Mai Xuyan's invitation, and through the Wanji chat group, he directly traveled to the world of the evil lord of another world, the center of the heavenly punishment forest. This time, Mai Xuyan watched Xiao Fan walk out of the light gate, but she was not as surprised as the first time. Master Xiao, I wonder what you were talking about in the group just now? Is there anything I can help with? Mai Xuyan asked when she saw Xiao Fan landing beside her. Xiao Fan smiled and said, I'm going to find Jun Moxie to make a deal. By the way, how did the last battle go? Mai Xuyan said, with the help of Master Xiao, the strength of the Heaven Punishment Beast King has been improved. In the 3 decisive battles with the human coalition, except for the first one that ended in a draw due to special circumstances, we won. The other 2 and the human coalition withdrew. But now, Jun Moxie probably hasn't returned to the Tanxiang Empire yet. Xiao Fan smiled and said, the Heaven Punishment Beast King can be improved, which is still the effect of the Heaven Punishment Holy Fruit. I just moved it casually. Mai Xuyan said, Master Xiao's little effort has avoided the danger of my brothers and sisters exploding and dying. Xiao Fan shook his head slightly. Okay, let's not talk about this. I'll go find Jun Moxie to make a deal first. When I come back, I can refine the spiritual medicines you collected into pills. Master Xiao, take care, Mai Xuyan said politely after hearing this, but she didn't try to keep him too much. Xiao Fan nodded slightly and then left the Heaven Punishment Forest. Because he was not sure where Jun Moxie was now, Xiao Fan did not use Space Shuttle directly, but chose to fly in the air. However, Xiao Fan's current flying speed was so fast that in less than an hour, he had already caught up with Jun Moxie and his party on the way to Tanxiang Empire. When Xiao Fan arrived, he happened to see the people of the Jun family fighting with the people of Fengxu Silver City. Among them, Jun Moxie, holding the blood of Yan Huang, fought back and forth with Albuayu, a 4th-grade Xingxuan. However, there were too few masters on the Jun family side. When the 5 elders of Fengxu Silver City also joined the battle, the people on the Jun family side could not hold on. TSK, I didn't expect that I came at such a good time. Xiao Fan looked at this scene and couldn't help but TSK. Xiao Fan did not deliberately hide his figure, so when he appeared above the battlefield of both sides who were fighting also noticed Xiao Fan. Jun Moxie's face changed slightly when he saw Xiao Fan coming. Last time in the Heaven Punishment Forest, he had seen how powerful Xiao Fan was. Judging from the situation at that time, Xiao Fan had a close relationship with the boss of the Heaven Punishment Forest, But he didn't know why he came here now. If the other party also wanted to be an enemy of their Jun family, I'm afraid that all the people in the Jun family would not be spared. Jun Moxie vaguely remembered that the boss of the Heaven Punishment called the other party Mr. Xiao. Could it be that he was also from Fengxu Silver City? Thinking of this, Jun Moxie couldn't help but feel a strong sense of powerlessness in his heart. Who are you? I wonder what your purpose is? At this time, Doupo felt a great threat from Xiao Fan, forced Jun Moxie back with one move, looked at Xiao Fan with a serious face and asked. When Jun Moxie heard what Doupo said, his eyes suddenly lit up. It seems that although the man's surname is Xiao, he is not from the Xiao family of Fengxu Silver City. Xiao Fan smiled faintly. I came to Jun Moxie to discuss a deal. Swish. Hearing Xiao Fan's words, everyone present changed their expressions slightly and turned their attention to Jun Moxie. Jun Moxie was also surprised, but pretended to be calm on the surface, and said with a cupped hand, I wonder what kind of deal this young master wants to discuss with me. Chapter 181 Xiao Fan takes action. The disaster of Snowy Silver City. Xiao Fan said, give me a copy of the recipe you know, and I will help you resolve the crisis and destroy Fengxu Silver City. How dare you, arrogant. Hearing Xiao Fan's words, the elders of Fengxu Silver City changed their faces and shouted angrily without waiting for Jun Moxie to answer. Noisy. Xiao Fan frowned slightly, and with a wave of his hand, all the people in Fengxu Silver City fell to the ground and lost their ability to move. Hiss. Seeing this, everyone present couldn't help but take a breath. The people of Fengxu Silver City were terrified, and the people of the Jun family were also shocked. They looked at Xiao Fan with awe in their eyes. Even Ying Bokong and Jun Moxie were unruly, and their hearts were beating fast at this moment. Originally, Xiao Fan was going to use the tower beat of Hongjun Tower to make a deal, but after arriving here, he suddenly felt that he had lost a little in this deal, so he changed his mind temporarily. Xiao Fan ignored the shock of the crowd. After calming down the people of Fengxu Silver City, he looked at Jun Moxie again and said, how? Seeing Xiao Fan looking at him, Jun Moxie's heart skipped a beat, and he almost couldn't help wanting to hide in Hongjun Tower. To Jun Moxie, Xiao Fan's strength was too strong, which made him feel insecure. Moreover, he couldn't judge Xiao Fan's next move at all. He was kind and benevolent in the last second, but he might attack directly in the next second. Jun Moxie was the most helpless against such a powerful person who had no rules to follow. Jun Moxie's mind turned rapidly, and after a while he nodded and said, okay. Jun Moxie didn't dare to guarantee whether Xiao Fan would directly attack the people of the Jun family if he rejected Xiao Fan. In addition, Jun Moxie felt that this deal was not a loss. Anyway, even if he gave Xiao Fan a copy of the pill formula, he would not lose anything, and he could also solve the great enemy of Fengxu Silver City. Isn't it a good thing? The great enemy of Blood Soul Villa has been destroyed. If Fengxu Silver City is solved, the Jun family will have no external enemies, and he can be a second-generation rich man again. Of course, this is just a beautiful idea in Jun Mo's mind. As for whether the follow-up will be the same as in the original book, and will confront the three holy places, no one can say for sure. Seeing Jun Mo agreed, Xiao Fan nodded with satisfaction. Yes, you made a wise decision. These people in Fengxu Silver City will be handed over to you to deal with. After dealing with them, I will take you to destroy Fengxu Silver City. Thank you very much. Jun Mo bowed his hands to thank him, and then turned to look at Jun Wuai. Third uncle, do you or I have to deal with these people? The voice was full of murderous intent. Obviously, Jun Mo did not intend to let go of these people in Fengxu Silver City. Jun Wuai hesitated for a moment after hearing this, and slowly said, I will personally take care of Han, and you can leave the others to you. However, Brother Mu and Miss Han should not be implicated. The Brother Mu and Miss Han mentioned by Jun Wuai were Mugzueton and Han Yan from Fengxu Silver City. Mugzueton and Jun Wuai were like brothers, and Han Yan was the sister of Han Yan Yao, the person Jun Wuai loved. Jun Wuai naturally did not want them to be killed. Jun Moxie nodded and said, I save it. After agreeing, Jun Moxie walked towards the people of Fengxu Silver City who were high above. At this moment, Everyone in Fengxu Silver City looked very flustered. Next, similar to the plot in the original novel, Jun Moxie first interrogated Zhao Buiyu and other people from the Xiao family about the truth of how Jun Wuyi, Jun Wuman, Jun Mu, Jun Maku and others were killed in the military camp, as well as the truth of the incident in Huangyuatang of Tangxiang Empire, and then tortured the people of the Xiao family to death. Xiao Fan stood aside, watching the show with great interest. This kind of live broadcast was much more exciting than the text description in the novels in the previous life. Among them, of course, it also included the fact that the Xiao family secretly killed the children of the Han family in order to plot against Fengxu Silver City, which directly made the people of the Han family and Fengxu Silver City glare at the people of the Xiao family and resent them. After dealing with the people of the Xiao family, Junmo slowly walked towards the people of the Han family. Han Yang saw Junmo coming over, and tremblingly blocked in front of several elders of the Han family, and shouted, "Junmo, don't hurt third grandpa and others." You just heard it, those bad things were done by the people of the Xiao family, and it has nothing to do with third grandpa and others. The third grandpa mentioned by Han Yan was the third elder of Fengxu Silver City. Jun Moxie said calmly, "You have some truth in what you said. The Han family did not participate in framing the people of my Jun family, but they stood by and watched, condoning the evil of the Xiao family. In fact, even if I killed them, it would not be considered as killing innocent people, but I have always been kind-hearted. For the sake of Aunt San, I will spare your lives and take the bodies of those guys from the Xiao family back to Fengxu Silver City." Jun Wuyi, who was standing aside, was slightly relieved by this. If Jun Moxie really killed all the people of the Han family, he really didn't know how to face Han Yan Yao. After getting rid of these people, Jun Moxie bowed to Xiao Fan and said, "Thank you again, Master Xiao. I hope you don't mind the treatment of the people of the Han family." Xiao Fan said indifferently, "This matter has nothing to do with me. It's up to you. Let's go to Fengxu Silver City now. As for whether to kill them all or just the Xiao family, it's up to you." "Thank you." Jun Moxie thanked Xiao Fan again, and then said to Jun Wuyi and others, "Third uncle, everyone, I will follow Master Xiao to Fengxu Silver City first. You slow down the speed of returning to the army. After I finish dealing with the matters of Fengxu Silver City, I will rush back as soon as possible." "Okay, let's go." Xiao Fan was too lazy to waste time, so he took Jun Moxie to his side, tore the space directly, and went to Fengxu Silver City through the space wormhole. Jun Wuyi, Ying Bokong and others looked at this scene, and looked at each other again, and were even more in awe of Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan naturally didn't care about Jun Wuyi's thoughts, because he had been to Fengxu Silver City before, so he didn't delay this time. He brought Jun Moxie and appeared in Fengxu Silver City in an instant. "Mr. Xiao, what kind of method is this? It's too powerful." Jun Moxie looked at the Fengxu Silver City under his feet and said with some emotion. Xiao Fan smiled lightly and said, "This is the use of the power of space. When you improve your cultivation and master the ability of space in the future, it will be very easy to do this." Next, Xiao Fan took Jun Moxie and rushed directly in Fengxu Silver City. No one from the Xiao family was spared. They were all captured by Xiao Fan, their full strength was sealed, and they were thrown on the square of Fengxu Silver City. Han Zan, the city lord of Fengxu Silver City, looked at the scene and had no time to react. Jun Moxie looked at Xiao Fan's posture and envied him in his heart. His desire for strength became even stronger. "Whether to kill or keep these people is entirely up to you," Xiao Fan said to Jun Moxie after capturing all the Xiao family members in the Fengxu Silver City square. "Thank you, Mr. Xiao. There is no book for the recipe at the moment. I need to write it down later. Please wait for a moment." Jun Moxie thanked Xiao Fan and then said slowly. Xiao Fan nodded slightly. "I know. You should deal with the Fengxu Silver City first." Jun Moxie gestured to Xiao Fan, and then began to find all the murderers of the Xiao family according to the names Zhao Buiyu had confessed before, and tortured them to death one by one. As for the other members of the Xiao family, Jun Moxie asked them to confess their life stories. All those who had committed evil deeds were killed, and those who had not committed evil deeds were abolished from martial arts and became ordinary people. "Who are you?" You dare to be presumptuous in Fengsu Silver City. Jun Moxie was dealing with the Xiao family members when he suddenly heard an angry scolding voice, and at the same time, there was a strong pressure pressing towards him. Chapter 182. Another transaction. Retreat. As the voice fell, an old man in gorgeous clothes and with gray hair also appeared in the sight of Xiao Fan and Jun Moxie. This person's cultivation has reached the realm of the Venerable. Not surprisingly, he is the previous city lord of Fengsu Silver City, the Supreme Venerable Han Fengsu. A few days ago, Han Fengsu sensed that the spiritual energy of Fengsu Silver City had become nearly 100 times thinner. He was shocked and angry, and kept looking for the reason, but he could not find it. Today, sensing that Jun Moxie was killing wantonly in Fengsu Silver City, Han Fengsu, who was already angry and frustrated, was directly furious and killed him aggressively. Jun Moxie's current cultivation level can still fight against ordinary Shinxuan realms, but he is no match for the supreme level, let alone a venerable master like Han Fengsu. Jun Moxie felt great pressure from Han Fengsu. Xiao Fan, however, looked calm and said to Jun Moxie, "Keep doing what you want to do. I'll take care of this person." As Xiao Fan finished speaking, he directly blocked the pressure of Han Fengsu's aura for Jun Moxie. "Thank you." Jun Moxie felt relieved and thanked Xiao Fan, and then went to the other members of the Xiao family again. Han Fengsu saw this and said angrily, "Stop it." Xiao Fan was too lazy to say more nonsense. His eyes flashed slightly, and he directly used his magical power of dragon power on Han Fengsu. Plop! Under the effect of the dragon power exerted by Xiao Fan, Han Fengsu's body was out of control and he suddenly knelt on the ground. "Who are you?" Han Fengsu's face suddenly changed after this incident. He was humiliated and angry, and questioned Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan said calmly, "If I'm not mistaken, you are Han Fengsu, the previous city lord of Fengsu Silver City." "It doesn't matter who I am. The person next to me is called Jun Moxie, the third young master of the Jun family of the Tangxiang Empire. I believe you know it, right? As for why he came to Fengsu Silver City, you must know it very well in your heart. You should be thankful that you have a good granddaughter, Han Yan Yao. Otherwise, it will not only be the Xiao family, but your Han family will also be wiped out." Swish! Hearing Xiao Fan's words, Han Fengsu's face suddenly changed, and his emotions were very complicated. Xiao Fan was right. Han Fengsu knew the affairs of the Jun family very well. In the early years, they had not intervened, just because the Jun family was not worth their efforts. Recently, it was because Han Fengsu learned about the rapid rise of Jun Moxie, and he was afraid of the Jun family and did not dare to intervene casually. Moreover, Han Fengsu also wanted to use the hands of the Jun family to get rid of the Xiao family for them, so that the Han family would no longer be constrained by the Xiao family. Of course, he would not say these. Han Fengsu came out late because he was waiting for some of the Xiao family's masters to be eliminated. He would then show his strength and show his kindness to the Xiao family's survivors. However, Han Fengsu never expected that the one who came to kill him was Jun Moxie, and that he was accompanied by such a terrifying strong man. Xiao Fan looked at Han Fengsu's changing expression and was too lazy to pay attention to him. He just left him aside and continued to watch Jun Moxie deal with the Xiao family. After Jun Moxie had dealt with them, Xiao Fan released his suppression of Han Fengsu and said, "If Fengsu Silver City wants revenge, then be prepared to be completely wiped out. In addition, you'd better wait until the people you sent to the heavenly punishment battle come back before deciding on your attitude towards the Jun family. That's all. Goodbye." Jun Moxie said to Han Fengsu at this time, "Old City Lord Han, when you meet the elders of your Han family, you should understand that I killed the people of the Xiao family, which actually helped the Han family. Your Han family still owes me a great favor." After Jun Moxie finished speaking, he also hurried to Xiao Fan's side. Xiao Fan casually glanced at Han Fengsu, took Jun Moxie, and directly tore through the space and left. Han Fengsu climbed up from the ground and looked at this scene, with a flickering expression on his face. On the other side, Xiao Fan took Jun Moxie and quickly returned to the triumphant team of the Jun family. When Jun Wuyi and others saw Jun Moxie coming back, Their originally hanging hearts were immediately put back into their stomachs. Xiao Fan ignored the others and said to Jun Moxie, "Write down all the recipes for me now, young master Xiao." "Wait a moment." Jun Moxie agreed without hesitation, and then quickly wrote down the recipes in the military tent. Jun Moxie did not cheat, but wrote down all the recipes he had at the moment. At Jun Moxie's current speed, it took him more than 2 hours to finish. Although he only found a small part of the elixir that could be used, Jun Moxie also wrote down the others. "Young master Xiao, this is the recipe you want." Jun Moxie did not delay and directly handed the thick stack of paper filled with recipes to Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan took the recipe and put it into his ring. He smiled and said, "I have another deal here. Are you interested?" Jun Moxie asked, "What deal?" Xiao Fan did not answer but asked, "Do you feel that the treasure Hongjun Tower on you is missing a very important part?" Jun Moxie was alert when he heard Xiao Fan's words. He had never mentioned the matter of Hongjun Tower to anyone. How could Xiao Fan know about it? Jun Moxie was more worried that Xiao Fan would covet his Hongjun Tower. Xiao Fan saw through Jun Moxie's thoughts at a glance and said lightly, "You know the power of Hongjun Tower better than me. I can't take it away even if I want to. So you don't have to think too much. I'll tell you straight, I have the missing part of Hongjun Tower here, the tower bead on the top of Hongjun Tower." As he said that, Xiao Fan took out the tower bead of Hongjun Tower and held it in his hand. Boom! As soon as Xiao Fan took out the bead of Hongjun Pagoda, Jun Moxie sensed a roar from the Hongjun Pagoda in his body. He instantly became agitated and wanted to rush to the bead, but unfortunately he was blocked by an invisible barrier. Jun Moxie immediately understood that what Xiao Fan said was true. "I wonder what Master Xiao wants." Xiao Fan said, "You should have reached the 3rd level of the creation of the universe. You will pass on the first 3 levels of the creation of the universe to me, and also the yin-yang escape technique." Jun Moxie's heart skipped a beat when he heard Xiao Fan's conditions. Creation of the universe, yin-yang escape. Apart from the Hongjun Pagoda, these two are undoubtedly his most precious foundations. This condition really made him reluctant to give it up. Seeing Jun Moxie's changing expression, Xiao Fan smiled lightly. "It's up to you whether to trade or not. I don't like to force people to do things." Jun Moxie sensed the restlessness of the Hongjun Tower in his body, and said helplessly, "I'll trade with you." Xiao Fan smiled and threw the tower bead to Jun Moxie. This tower bead is very important to Jun Moxie, but it is not very useful to Xiao Fan. In comparison, yin-yang escape and Kaitian Zhao Huigong are more useful. Yin-yang escape may play an unexpected role at a critical moment. As for Kaitian Zhao Huigong, although it only has 3 levels at present, Xiao Fan can rely on his heaven-defined comprehension to deduce the latter part and integrate it into his own practice. Not only this Kaitian Zhao Huigong, Xiao Fan is also ready to wait until he reaches the world of Zatian, and get the Tao Sutra, and integrate them all together to create a set of powerful practices of his own. In the original work of Zatian, Yi Fan created the Tiandi Sutra. Xiao Fan is confident that he will be able to create a practice that surpasses the Tiandi Sutra in the future. As soon as Jun Moxie took the tower bead, Hongjun Tower could not wait to absorb it. Hongjun Tower trembled and became more complete. Jun Moxie could feel that the power of Hongjun Tower seemed to be much stronger. This made Jun Moxie feel that this transaction was not a loss. After the Hongjun Tower stabilized, Jun Moxie passed on the yin-yang escape and Kaitian creation art to Xiao Fan as promised. After getting what he wanted, Xiao Fan first arrived at the Tanfa forest, refined a batch of pills from Miguzuyan, then said goodbye to Miguzuyan and returned to the Dqi world through the chat group. After returning to the Dqi world, Xiao Fan also refined a batch of pills for Kinglin and Xiaoxiao, and took them to the inner courtyard of Canaan Academy. After telling the elder of the inner courtyard Sukion, Xiao Fan entered the Yuaki Tower and practiced in seclusion with the help of the ancient body tree. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 183 Zhu Yuanzhang, an accident while practicing the escape technique. Inside the space of the Yuanqi Tower, ripples appeared from time to time on the trunk of the huge ancient body tree, and Xiao Fan was blending into the trunk, like a sculpture, motionless. Xiao Fan now has fallen into a deep retreat. With the help of the ancient body tree, he is experiencing reincarnation. He has no concept of everything around him, even time. Not far from the ancient body tree, the old ghost Xiaoxiao, who has been imprisoned, looks like he is dying. Looking at the state of Xiao Fan in the trunk of the ancient body tree, he can't help but envy him. I don't know what kind of ghost place this is. No news can be passed on. This is the ancient body tree. Such a treasure has become this kid's. The ancient body tree has 3 treasures: body seeds, body mind, and the most precious body tree. How can I destroy his enlightenment? The old ghost Xiaoxiao's thoughts surged in his heart, staring at Xiao Fan not far away, with a flickering light in his eyes. Snap! The old body tree seemed to know what the old star-picking ghost was thinking. It suddenly stretched out a branch and whipped the old star-picking ghost. Ah! The old star-picking ghost screamed and collapsed to the ground powerlessly, his eyes full of despair. With the protection of the old body tree, all his ideas were in vain. In the endless despair of the old star-picking ghost, a month passed slowly. After a month, Xiao Fan, who had originally closed his eyes in the trunk of the old body tree, finally opened his eyes slowly. In those dark eyes, there was the vicissitudes of seeing through everything in the world. This vicissitude went deep into the human soul and could not be pretended. At this moment, Xiao Fan's face was a little dazed, and he slowly looked around, as if he was confirming something. At this time, the old body tree stretched out a branch again and gently rubbed Xiao Fan's shoulder. Xiao Fan looked up at the old body tree, and the vicissitudes in his eyes gradually retreated until they were completely hidden in the depths of his soul. Xiao Fan exhaled a long breath of green gas, slowly stood up from the ancient body tree, and then took a step out. The surface of the ancient body tree was surging, and Xiao Fan's body, like liquid, slowly melted out of the extremely hard ancient body tree. Finally back. This experience is a bit uncomfortable. Xiao Fan, who had completely recovered, looked at the ancient body tree in front of him, shook his head slightly, and chuckled. Although he had only been in the outside world for a month, he had gone through 100 reincarnations in the ancient body tree. He didn't want to experience that taste again. The peak of the 9 turns on. Not bad. After sensing his current cultivation situation, Xiao Fan nodded with satisfaction, and it was worth his hard work. Wow! At this time, the ancient body tree trembled, as if congratulating Xiao Fan. Then, pieces of emerald green light suddenly burst out from the ancient body tree, and it seemed that something was about to burst out. In an instant, emerald green light spots shot out from it, all suspended in front of Xiao Fan. Body seeds. There are so many. Seeing this scene, the old ghost Xiaoxiao couldn't help but exclaimed, his voice full of disbelief. Thank you, brother body. Xiao Fan ignored the old ghost Xiaoxiao, smiled and thanked the ancient body tree, and with a wave of his hand, all the body seeds fell into Xiao Fan's hands. Xiao Fan counted them, and there were a total of 36 Sangang body seeds, which was more than the body seeds given to Xiao Yan by the ancient body tree in the original book. Not only these 36 body seeds, but also when Xiao Fan's body merged into the trunk of the ancient body tree, the ancient body tree also gave him a body heart, which was directly integrated into his heart. As long as Xiao Fan refines the body heart, his cultivation will be able to break through from the peak of the 9 turns onto the Cheng realm. Wow! The branches of the ancient body tree shook for a while, as if to say you're welcome. Xiao Fan smiled and said, I have been in seclusion for more than a month. I will go out and see if there is any situation outside. After saying that, Xiao Fan casually glanced at the old ghost Xiaoxiao, and directly left the Yuanqi Tower with a slight thought, returned to his room in Canaan College, opened the door and walked out. Master, you are out of seclusion. Kinglin had been guarding the door of the room. Except for eating and going to the bathroom, she almost never left. When she saw Xiao Fan coming out, she immediately greeted him and exclaimed in surprise. Xiao Fan reached out and rubbed Kinglin's head. Well, you are out of seclusion. Thank you for your hard work, Kinglin. Kinglin hurriedly said, I am not tired. I am at the door of the master's room and it will not affect your cultivation. Xiao Fan sensed King Lin's state and nodded slightly. You have also broken through to Duang. Very good. The reason why King Lin broke through so quickly was, on the one hand, that she mastered the method of practicing the green snake 3-flower pupils, and on the other hand, it was because Xiao Fan gave her a lot of elixirs before her seclusion. The two chatted for a while, and Zhao Yixian, Ye Fai, Ziou, and Zanal came over. They were all very happy to see Xiao Fan come out of retreat. After reminiscing about the past, Xiao Fan asked the girls, "Did anything happen during my retreat?" Ye Fai said, "No. The auction house is ready and can be officially opened at any time." Xiao Fan nodded slightly. "That's good. Let's go. Let's go out for a walk." The reincarnation and experience of hundreds of lives made Xiao Fan feel a little depressed, and he was ready to relax first. The girls naturally had no objection to this. Immediately, Xiao Fan took the girls and left Canaan Academy and wandered around the city of Blackhorn. Although the Blackhorn was very chaotic, no one dared to provoke a group of Duangs. As for Xiao Fan, the cultivation level of the 9-turned Zun was not discovered by ordinary people. Xiao Fan took the girls and strolled around for 3 consecutive days. He felt that his condition had recovered almost, so he started the next step of his cultivation plan. However, before practicing, Xiao Fan first deduced and created the Cation creation art and yin-yang escape art method that Jun Mozi had passed on to him. Under the influence of his heaven-defying enlightenment, Xiao Fan only took a quarter of an hour to improve the yin-yang escape, which reduced the difficulty of practice a lot, but the effect was not reduced at all. Then he spent more than an hour to deduce the Cation creation art to the 9th level, and integrated it with the Thunder Emperor art that he practiced, pushing the Thunder Emperor art directly to a level beyond the heavenly level. Well, let's try yin-yang escape first. After the deduction of the art, Xiao Fan quickly completed the practice of yin-yang escape, so he decided to try the effect first. Reciting the formula in his heart, Xiao Fan's figure quickly disappeared from the original place. When performing the yin-yang escape state, other people could not see Xiao Fan's existence at all. He shuttled back and forth in the Wanbao auction house at will, occasionally drilling into the ground, occasionally blending into the pillars, and even blending into other people's clothes, which was quite interesting. When Xiao Fan passed through a wall again, he was suddenly stunned. There was mist rising in the room, and the beautiful scenery in the center of the mist attracted Xiao Fan's attention. Chapter 184, Transmission of Skills, Battle with Little Medical Fairy. There was a bathtub in the center of the mist. At this moment, Zhao Yixian was in the bathtub, gently washing her body, and her beautiful figure was completely presented in Xiao Fan's sight. Watching the water droplets flowing down from Zhao Yixian's white neck, slowly flowing down, over the mountains, and across the swamps, Xiao Fan's breathing could not help but become a little hurried. "Who is it?" Zhao Yixian's face turned cold, and she instantly wrapped her body with the clothes hanging next to the bathtub. At the same time, she directly opened the 10,000 poisons field, and the entire room became a world of highly toxic. In the 10,000 poisons field, anyone below the 9-star Huang will definitely die. However, this person is Xiao Fan. Whether it is the realm of cultivation or his own physical condition, this 10,000 poisons field has no effect on Xiao Fan. In the dark room, Xiao Fan touched his nose awkwardly, secretly thinking about whether he should show up. Zhao Yixian already knew that someone was in the dark. If he didn't show up, Zhao Yixian would always have a thorn in her heart. She wanted to spend a lot of effort to find the person in the dark. It would be better for him to show up and talk to Zhao Yixian. After pondering for a while, Xiao Fan slowly withdrew the yin-yang escape and his body was directly revealed. Xiao Fan said awkwardly, "Zhao Yixian, it's me. Sorry. I didn't mean to. I was practicing a special escape method and accidentally broke into your room. I just didn't expect you to be bathing." When Zhao Yixian saw that it was Xiao Fan, the cold light on her face disappeared, and her expression was a little shy. You go out first." Zhao Yixian didn't know what to say for a while, so she had to let Xiao Fan go out first, and she was slightly relieved in her heart. It's better to be seen by Xiao Fan than by other people with bad intentions. "Okay, I'll go out now." Xiao Fan was reluctant to leave, and glanced at Zhao Yixian's peak, then turned and left the room. closing the door. Seeing this, Xiaoxian's face couldn't help but turn redder. Taking a deep breath and suppressing the restlessness in her heart, Xiaoxian put away the 10,000 poison field, quickly put on her clothes, and suddenly thought of something, and walked quickly to the door to open it. Seeing Xiao Fan standing at the door, Xiaoxian was a little worried and said, "How are you? Are you not poisoned?" Seeing Xiaoxian's attitude, Xiao Fan immediately felt relieved and shook his head and said, I really didn't mean to do that just now. I apologize to you again." Xiaoxian rolled her eyes at Xiao Fan and said, "Don't mention what happened just now." "Ahem, okay, I won't mention it anymore." Xiao Fan coughed lightly and looked at Xiaoxian for a few times. In his mind, he couldn't help but recall the beautiful scenery he had seen before. Xiaoxian said coquettishly, "What are you looking at?" Xiao Fan said hurriedly, "Nothing." "Well, I was thinking about passing on the escape method just now to you. At the critical moment, it may play an unexpected role." "Escape method?" Xiaoxian frowned slightly, a little curious. Xiao Fan nodded and said, "Yes, this escape method is called yin-yang escape. After practicing, you can hide in the void anytime and anywhere. No matter it is gold, wood, water, fire or earth, you can hide yourself perfectly, and there will be no smell or taste leaking out. The reason why you found me just now is because I saw you." And then my breathing fluctuated. As he said that, Xiao Fan touched his nose awkwardly, but he couldn't help but look at Xiaoxian a few more times. Xiaoxian glared and said, "Didn't I say that you are not allowed to talk about it?" Okay, let's not talk about this." Xiao Fan laughed and continued, "Let's go to your room. I will pass on this yin-yang escape to you." After that, Xiao Fan directly reached out and pulled Xiaoxian into the room, and locked the door with his backhand. The sky has heaven and earth, and the earth has yin and yang. The cycle of yin and yang gives rise to all things. The beginning of the human body is nothing but yin and yang. It is created by nature and disappears by nature. Therefore, it can be hidden in the yin and yang of nature. All things can be hidden, including the human body. The reason for this is still in yin and yang. After returning to the room, the two sat down, and Xiao Fan slowly taught the formula of yin and yang escape to Xiaoxian. Xiaoxian silently memorized the formula taught by Xiao Fan, and then slowly began to try to practice it. Although Xiaoxian's qualifications were also very good, she did not practice as quickly as Xiao Fan. Although this set of yin and yang escape, after Xiao Fan's deduction and creation, has become a method suitable for people of any attribute in the heavens and the world to practice, and it has been relatively simplified, its difficulty of practice is still not lower than that of the heaven-level Qi method. It was not until the next morning that Xiaoxian barely practiced yin and yang escape. In the next few days, Xiao Fan passed yin and yang escape to King Lin, Zone, Ye Fi and Zio respectively. Under Xiao Fan's guidance, several people barely managed to get started, but they were still a little short of the mark in order to be able to use it freely. That night, Xiao Fan had just taken off his clothes and was about to rest. Suddenly, he sensed a figure in the room. It was Xiaoxian, who was practicing yin-yang escape and broke into his room. Because Xiaoxian was not proficient in the use of yin-yang escape, and seeing Xiao Fan almost being honest with her, she was so excited that she broke the skill directly. Xiao Fan looked at Xiaoxian, whose face was flushed, and smiled and teased, "Why, you want to see your body back because I saw it and felt it was unfair, right?" Xiaoxian's face flushed even more when she heard this. "What are you talking about? I don't have such an idea. I was just practicing yin-yang escape, and I didn't expect this to happen. I'm leaving first." After saying that, Xiaoxian was about to leave the room. Xiao Fan looked at Xiaoxian's ruddy face, recalled the tempting scene he saw a few days ago, and felt a little agitated in his heart. He sat up, stretched out his hand, and pulled Xiaoxian into his arms. What are you going to do?" Xiaoxian was pulled into Xiao Fan's arms, feeling the warmth of Xiao Fan's chest. Her face blushed and she said nervously. Xiao Fan leaned close to Xiaoxian's ear and said, "Fuck. You brought this upon yourself. I can't bear to let you leave like this." After that, Xiao Fan kissed Xiaoxian's exposed swan neck from the side. Xiaoxian's body trembled and she struggled slightly. Don't. Xiaoxian and Xiao Fan have been together for quite a while. In fact, The relationship between them is just one layer of window paper away from being broken. The moon in the night sky sometimes hides in the treetops, and sometimes appears from the treetops. Chapter 185. Pass on the skills again and head to the world of shrouding the sky. The next morning, when the morning light shone through the window into the room, Xiao Fan and Xiaoxiao also woke up slowly, thinking of the scene last night. Xiaoxiao's face was red again. Good morning. Xiao Fan rubbed Xiaoxiao's head and said with a smile. Xiaoxiao whispered, Good morning. You go out first. I want to get dressed. Xiao Fan smiled and said, I've seen it all. What are you afraid of? Xiaoxiao learned it by herself, stretched out her hand and pinched Xiao Fan's waist, glared and said, Don't say it. Okay, I won't say it. Let go quickly, Xiao Fan said hurriedly, pretending to be in pain. HMPH. Xiaoxiao snorted and let go. Xiao Fan stopped teasing Xiaoxiao, quickly dressed up, stepped out of the room first, and went out to buy 2 breakfasts. In the room, after Xiao Fan left, Xiaoxiao slowly sat up, thinking about what happened last night, and couldn't help covering her face with her hands. After a while, Xiaoxiao took a deep breath, calmed down, and slowly dressed up. At this time, there was a knock at the door, and Xiao Fan's voice, Are you ready? I bought breakfast back. Hearing Xiao Fan's words, Xiaoxiao felt warm in her heart, sorted out her mood, and said softly, Okay, come in. Xiao Fan got Xiaoxiao's answer, pushed the door open directly, brought 2 breakfasts into the room, and ate breakfast with Xiaoxiao. Next, Xiao Fan continued to instruct Xiaoxiao and Xiao Fan the practice of yin-yang escape, and at the same time did not forget to refine the energy and body-heart. Another 7 days passed, and with the help of the devouring power, Xiao Fan finally completely refined body-heart, and his cultivation level also broke through from the realm of 9 turns onto the realm of 1-starred Sheng. In the past few days, under Xiao Fan's guidance, Xiaoxiao, Yif and others have almost practiced yin-yang escape to a state close to small success. When performing yin-yang escape, except for Xiao Fan, no one else can basically find them. There are still 5 days left before the auction house officially opens. There was basically nothing to do. Xiao Fan pondered for a moment, and then returned to Canaan Academy, and found Xiao Yan and his 3 brothers again. Third brother, what do you want to talk to us about? After the brothers reunited, the eldest brother Xiao Ding asked. Xiao Li and Xiao Yan also looked at Xiao Fan curiously. Now Ding and Xiao Li have reached the level of 9-starred with the help of the elixirs and exercises given by Xiao Fan. As for Xiao Yan, in addition to the elixirs given by Xiao Fan, he also had some opportunities of his own, and with the 2 kinds of strange fire, his cultivation reached the 3-starred Wang realm. In comparison, Xiao Fan gave his brothers fewer elixirs, because Xiao Fan knew that once he broke through to the D realm, his brothers would be able to directly ascend to the Cheng realm, so the things that could improve their strength were mainly given to his woman first. Of course, if there were extra weights, he would also give one to his brothers. Despite this, the 3 brothers were very grateful to Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan smiled and said, It's not a big deal. I recently got a special escape technique, so I came to teach it to you. After you succeed in practicing it, you will have an extra way to save your life. Xiao Yan scratched his head and said, Third brother, I have always been supported by you, but I can't help you at all. I feel a little embarrassed. Xiao Fan patted Xiao Yan's shoulder and said with a smile, Brother, why are you saying these polite words? Okay, I will teach you the formula first, you remember it carefully. Xiao Ding, Xiao Li and Xiao Yan nodded in agreement after hearing this. Then, Xiao Fan taught the yin-yang escape practice formula to Xiao Ding and his 3 brothers without missing a word. After teaching, Xiao Fan reminded, this technique should not be passed on to others easily. In addition, when you practice, it is best to leave one person to protect you in case of special circumstances or someone comes to find you. Well, don't worry, we know. Xiao Ding heard the words and agreed on behalf of the 3 brothers. Xiao Fan said, Then I'll go first. I'm going to go back and pass this escape method on to my father. Give our regards to our father, Xiao Li said after hearing this. Xiao Fan nodded and agreed, and then he parted with his 3 brothers. After leaving, Xiao Fan did not rush back to Yun City, but first went to the library to find the 2 elders Qian Bei. Today, The two elders Qian Bei are still at the peak of Zhong, and are only one step away from breaking through to Zun. Xiao Fan decided to lend them a helping hand. In addition to the accumulation of qi, the most important thing for Zhong to break through to Zun is the comprehension of space. Xiao Fan has already mastered the power of space to the extreme, and it is still very easy to help the two elders Qian Bei in this regard. Xiao Fan did not help the two elders Qian Bei break through to Zun before because of the limitation of the puppet talisman. The user of the puppet talisman needs to have a big gap in cultivation with Xiao Fan in order to be effective. Of course, this gap is not just a complete big realm. For example, Xiao Fan is now a 1-starred Sheng, so everyone below the 9-turn Zun can be controlled by Xiao Fan's puppet talisman. When Xiao Fan breaks through to the 9-starred Sheng, the people who can be controlled by the puppet talisman are still the same. If Xiao Fan breaks through the D realm, then his puppet talisman will have an effect on people including the 9-starred Sheng. After Xiao Fan found the two elders, he told them about his understanding of the power of space, and at the same time directly used the power of space to travel through their bodies, allowing them to feel the space more truly. In fact, the two elders had already comprehended part of the power of space. After Xiao Fan spent 2 or 3 hours helping, the two elders' comprehension of space reached the limit of the Zhong realm. They were only one step away from breaking through the Zun, and they immediately fell into a state of seclusion. Xiao Fan casually laid a space protection, and then left Canaan College. The space protection that Xiao Fan laid was set up according to the strength of the two elders. After they broke through the Zun, the two of them could break it together. Of course, this was because the two elders were not far from a breakthrough. If they were ordinary 9-starred Zongs, Xiao Fan would not be able to help them reach the state of a Zun breakthrough immediately. After leaving Canaan Academy, Xiao Fan returned to Yuten City and taught the Yin-Yang escape to Xiaozan. Then he went to Yunlin sect and the King City of the Snake People to teach Yun Yun and Medusa respectively, and finally returned to Lei. In the process of teaching Yun Yun and Medusa, there was naturally a lot of intimacy and tenderness. After Xiaozan, Yun Yun and Medusa received the Yin-Yang escape from Xiao Fan. They were also greatly shocked. They had never even heard of such a magical escape method before, let alone practiced it. Xiao Fan didn't take it too seriously. He taught the Yin-Yang escape to his close people just to provide more security. However, the most important thing was that he himself broke through to the Emperor. Once he broke through to the Emperor realm, who in the entire Qi continent would dare to show his teeth to the Xiao family? After returning to Lei, Xiao Fan pondered for a while and prepared to sign into the world of covering the sky. When Wang Tang first joined the chat group, Xiao Fan did not go to the world of covering heaven because he was worried about encountering danger, but now with the protection mechanism of the chat group, he does not have to worry. After making a decision in his heart, Xiao Fan did not inform Wang Tang and directly traveled to the world of covering heaven through the chat group. Chapter 186 A chaotic battle in front of the King Emperor's tomb. As soon as Xiao Fan traveled to the world of Zacian, he saw flames rising to the sky. Below him was a volcano. There was boiling magma in the circular crater, which was already very scary, burning half of the sky red. Around the volcano, there were endless ancient buildings. The ancient buildings were densely packed. Although they had half collapsed and turned into ruins, one could imagine how magnificent they were in the past. As the boiling magma surged, a magnificent ancient palace with a crystal body in the crater floated up and down, popping up from time to time. Boom, boom, dot. From time to time, dull sounds came from the inside of the ancient palace, shaking the sky. There were also nearly 20 fierce birds and beasts distributed in the building complex, all of which were of different species and each of them was extremely magical. Like a centipede with silver wings, it was as thick as an arm and 2 meters long, shining all over, as if it was cast from silver. There was another beast that looked like a bull, had a lion's head, and was covered with green scales. It was more than 10 meters tall and looked like a small mountain. "Why are you here? I was going to invite you to our world, but you refused." Xiao Fan was looking at the environment below when he heard a somewhat arrogant voice. It was Wang Tang, who regarded himself as a young emperor. Wang Tang accepted Su Xiaoxiao's suggestion and decided to make friends with Yi Fan, so he rushed to Yan State from Beiyuan. Wang Teng was thinking about how to contact Yi Fan, but he found something strange here, so he temporarily gave up the idea of looking for Yi Fan and rushed to the sky above the volcano. He didn't expect Xiao Fan to suddenly come to their world. Wang Teng remembered that he took the initiative to ask Xiao Fan to come to their world, but Xiao Fan refused. Every time he traveled to the world of a group member, he would appear beside the corresponding group member, so Xiao Fan was not surprised to see Wang Teng. However, what surprised Xiao Fan was the location where he met Wang Teng. If nothing unexpected happened, this should be the tomb of the Green Emperor in the original book. Xiao Fan said without disguising, because I was not safe before, but now it is safe, so I want to come and see this vast world. Is that not okay? Wang Teng did not expect Xiao Fan to answer so bluntly, and he was a little at a loss for words. At this moment, a big man with scales on his arms below shouted at the head of Ling Sudongshan, "Humans, you are too much." The original ruins were divided into two. You already own Ling Sudongshan, and now you come to our territory to compete for the immortal treasure. Are you trying to provoke a dispute? The speaker was a powerful transformed monster. Opposite them, there were 5 old men who looked somewhat imposing. They were the head of Ling Sudongshan and 4 supreme elders. Upon hearing this, a supreme elder of Ling Sudongshan said coldly, "This is the ruins left by my human race. You are just living here for a while, how can you occupy it?" Next, just like in the original book, the two sides first had a verbal battle, and after arguing, they finally just confronted each other, waiting for the tomb of the Green Emperor to appear completely. Boom! Another dull sound rang out, and the seal around the tomb of the Green Emperor was completely broken. In the palace complex under the volcano, dozens of terrifying beasts, the head of Ling Sudongshan, the supreme elders and those transformed monsters all rushed towards the crater. After rushing to the crater, the transformed monster stopped the elders of Ling Sudongshan and was unwilling to let them enter the tomb of the Green Emperor. After another dispute, the two sides directly launched a fierce battle at the crater. Here, the demonic energy was rampant, and the divine aura was soaring. Several monsters fought with human strongmen one after another, and the rays of light were radiant. Various weapons were flying all over the sky, making the night sky as bright as day. The two sides fought in full swing, but they did not notice that there were 2 uninvited guests, Xiao Fan and Wang Teng. In the air, the battle below looked very tragic. There was an elder of Ling Sudongshan whose heart was crushed by a monster, and there was also a head of Ling Sudongshan who caught 2 monsters and put them into the purple copper furnace to refine them alive. But this level of battle is still far from enough for Xiao Fan and Wang Teng. After all, Xiao Fan is now comparable to the realm of a saint, and Wang Teng has also entered the realm of the second great power of the immortal. Looking at the fierce battle below, Wang Teng's eyes flickered for a while, and asked Xiao Fan, "Since you know the situation in our world very well, then this time you come here for this tomb of the Demon Emperor?" Xiao Fan said lightly, "I said I happened to catch up. I'm afraid you don't believe it, right? There is a part of the Taoist scripture in the tomb of the Demon Emperor, and I came for this. As for the other things, they are not that important." In fact, it was really a coincidence that Xiao Fan rushed to the tomb of the Green Emperor. However, this reason can cover up the fact that he came to the world of the sky to sign in. Wang Teng said proudly, "In this case, when we get to the tomb of the Demon Emperor, we will rely on our own abilities." When Wang Teng and Xiao Fan dueled in the Demon Revival world, he was still in the realm of the first immortal, and Xiao Fan was comparable to the realm of the second immortal at that time. Now, Wang Teng felt that he had also broken through to the realm of the second great power of the immortal, and he must have narrowed the gap with Xiao Fan, and he might not be able to defeat Xiao Fan. Wang Teng had no idea that the gap between the two had not narrowed, but had skyrocketed many times. Xiao Fan smiled faintly. "Okay." As soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Fan flashed and rushed towards the ancient temple in the center of the volcano below. Although Yi Fan, the protagonist, might also be below, Xiao Fan didn't want to pay too much attention. Wang Teng saw Xiao Fan going to the tomb of the Green Emperor, and casually glanced at the chaotic battlefield below, and rushed directly into the tomb of the Green Emperor. While the people of Lingsu Cave Heaven and the big monster were fighting to the death, Xiao Fan and Wang Teng had already gone deep into the depths of the Green Emperor's tomb. After Xiao Fan entered the tomb of the Green Emperor, he rushed and destroyed many restrictions, and saw some medicinal materials and utensils, and he also took them into his pocket. When Xiao Fan opened a stone box again, a dazzling golden light suddenly shot out. In the stone box, there was a page of golden paper. There was a brilliant light on the golden paper, and both sides were engraved with dense small characters. Each word was like a star, blooming with divine brilliance, and extremely dazzling. There is no doubt that this is the Taoist scripture of the Wheel C scroll in the tomb of the Green Emperor. Although this Taoist scripture is only the Wheel C scroll, Xiao Fan has a heaven-defying understanding, and he can naturally deduce the subsequent part at that time. In other words, deduce and create a new Taoist scripture, because what he deduced and created may not be exactly the same as the original Taoist scripture. Xiao Fan put the Taoist scripture into the system space without hesitation, and then continued to search in the tomb of the Green Emperor. Suddenly, Xiao Fan's sight came into a crystal sarcophagus. Next to the crystal sarcophagus, there was a young man with green hair all over his body. The young man's cheeks were covered with dragon and phoenix symbols, and his arms were also covered with many black tortoise and unicorn characters. His eyes shot out a green light that was several meters long, and at this moment, he was full of demonic energy. Chapter 187, Wang Teng is suppressed with one palm, and the Holy Land arrives. It's him. Seeing the appearance of the young man, Xiao Fan recalled the content of the original book and soon recognized that this person must be Yi Fan's close friend Pang Bo. As for the abnormality of Pang Bo at this time, it was because the remnant soul of the descendant of the Green Emperor was possessed and wanted to take over his body. Pang Bo stretched out his hand and wanted to uncover the crystal coffin. Unexpectedly, the crystal coffin seemed to have intelligence and suddenly flew out of the ancient temple. Boom! At this time, a violent attack suddenly intercepted the attack from the side of the ancient temple towards the crystal coffin. At the same time as the attack fell, Wang Teng's figure also appeared in Xiao Fan's sight. The crystal coffin was hit by Wang Teng, and it shook violently. The whole ancient temple also trembled endlessly. The terrifying aura even spread outside the ancient temple. Pang Bo saw this scene, and a gloomy look flashed in his eyes. He didn't expect that there would be a powerful person at a level of great power who came to the tomb of the Demon Emperor so quickly. Although he was unwilling, Pang Bo still retreated to one side and did not fight for the crystal coffin. Pang Bo was looking forward to the crystal coffin, or rather the Demon Emperor's heart inside the crystal coffin, showing its power. After Wang Teng intercepted the crystal coffin, he waved his hand, and a giant hand with condensed spiritual energy suddenly appeared in the ancient hall and grabbed the crystal coffin. Seeing this, Xiao Fan chuckled, opened his right hand slightly, and immediately transformed into a giant hand of thunder flashing with purple light, grabbing the crystal coffin. Although Xiao Fan made a move later, he grabbed one side of the crystal coffin at the same time as Wang Teng. Two illusory giant hands, one purple and one gold, grabbed the crystal coffin, and more terrifying spiritual energy continued to burst out, shaking the crystal coffin. Boom! At the same time, the Demon Emperor's heart in the crystal coffin also made a dull beating sound again. Wang Teng said sternly, "Xiao Fan, I lost to you last time. This time I want to get it back from you. Do you dare to accept my challenge?" Xiao Fan chuckled and said, "Why not? But I hope you won't be too desperate after you lose again. I said last time that the enemy who lost to me will never be regarded as my opponent. I will give you time to catch up until you can't see me anymore. Arrogant, take my sword first." Wang Teng heard this and shouted in anger. Jing! The sword rang in the sky. Wang Teng held the crystal coffin in his left hand and the Emperor's sword in his right hand. His long black hair stood up, his eyes were as sharp as a knife, and when he swung the sword, a terrifying sword light cut through the space and suddenly slashed down towards Xiao Fan. Facing Wang Teng's attack, Xiao Fan was relaxed and said with a faint smile, "Last time I won your ancient chariot. This time, I will take your heavenly Emperor's sword as a trophy." When the voice fell, Xiao Fan opened his left hand, and thunder flashed between his palms. In an instant, a giant thunder hand formed in the air and grabbed the heavenly Emperor's sword in Wang Teng's hand. Boom! The sword light emitted by Wang Teng hit the giant thunder hand emitted by Xiao Fan, and a terrifying roar suddenly sounded in the air. Boom! The aftermath of the two people's attack directly shook the entire ancient temple. Many beams and pillars in the ancient temple were broken on the spot, and the entire ancient temple seemed to be a little shaky. Wang Teng's terrifying sword light attacked the giant thunder hand emitted by Xiao Fan, but the giant thunder hand did not even tremble. The terrifying thunder directly destroyed the sword light and grabbed the Heavenly Emperor's sword in Wang Teng's hand. "Damn it!" Wang Teng roared, and the terrifying sound waves shook the entire ancient temple, and the space was shaken to collapse. The phantoms of the four great beasts, the real dragon, the divine phoenix, the white tiger, and the black tortoise, reappeared, covering Wang Teng's body, and roared at Xiao Fan at the same time. Xiao Fan's face was calm, and his mind moved slightly. The terrifying thunderous giant hand directly turned into a huge palm, and slapped the phantoms of the four great beasts. Bang, 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 bang. The next moment, 4 consecutive explosions sounded, and the phantoms of the four great beasts were blown up by Xiao Fan on the spot. Roar! When the phantom of the beast was shattered, it seemed to let out a miserable wail that resounded throughout the ancient temple. Pang Bo hid in a corner of the ancient temple, watching the terrifying battle between the two, and was shocked. Not to mention Pang Bo himself, even the descendant of the Green Emperor who wanted to take over Pang Bo's body was shocked by the powerful strength of the two at this moment. With two such powerful enemies around, his hope of taking the Demon Emperor's heart is very slim. He only hopes that the two can both lose, so that he can benefit from it. Unfortunately, Pang Bo obviously thought too much. Xiao Fan's terrifying thunder palm blew up the shadows of the four beasts surrounding Wang Teng's body, and then slapped Wang Teng with a palm. Eternal exile. Wang Teng's face changed drastically when he saw this. He let go of the hand holding the crystal coffin, and his hands moved in the void, shouting loudly. The void twisted, and all the 10 directions were destroyed. There was no telling how many void abysses appeared in the world, extending to different planes. Countless void abysses overlapped, as if they were going to swallow Xiao Fan into the void abyss. Space confinement. Repair. Seeing this, Xiao Fan was not panicked. He shouted in a low voice and directly activated the power of space, instantly confining the space around him. The surrounding void abyss was about to extend to Xiao Fan and swallow him, but it was suddenly imprisoned in its original place, and then repaired at a speed visible to the naked eye. The twisted void abyss around it instantly returned to its original state. At the same time, the palm formed by the giant hand of thunder also slapped Wang Teng directly. Bang! A dull sound rang out, and Wang Teng was directly slapped to the ground of the ancient temple, piercing the floor of the ancient temple. Rumble! The ancient temple had been riddled with holes in the attack of the two people, and this time it collapsed directly. Xiao Fan ignored the embarrassed Wang Teng, grabbed the crystal coffin with one hand, and flew out of the ancient temple. All this is a long story, but it actually happened in a very short time. Seeing that the situation changed so quickly, Pang Bo had to quickly leave the ancient temple first, and then find a way to seize the heart of the Demon Emperor in the crystal coffin. At this time, outside the ancient temple, there were dozens of divine rainbows with amazing momentum, flying towards the ancient temple. Boom! It was like thousands of troops were galloping. Behind dozens of divine rainbows, there were roars of wild beasts. Fog rolled, and clouds covered the sky. It was the people of Yogyuang Holy Land, stepping on wild beasts and coming in a mighty manner. On the other side, 18 ancient chariots rolled in, murderous or soared to the sky, and the oppressive sky was rumbling and trembling. This was a strong man from the Ji family, one of the ancient families in the East Wilderness. The strong men from both sides rushed to the outside of the ancient temple, and they were going to confront each other, but after sensing the terrifying battle fluctuations coming from the ancient temple, the two sides looked at each other and rushed towards the ancient temple together. Just as they rushed to the ancient temple suddenly collapsed, and 3 young figures flew out of the ancient temple. In the hands of one of them, there was a crystal coffin containing the heart of the Demon Emperor. Ahem. I saw some readers talking about a book club, so I set up one today. The group number is in the introduction. You can join if you are interested. In addition, I still ask for all kinds of support from readers, such as recommendation votes, monthly votes, rewards, and 5-star reviews. If you have a book list, please help add it. I will be very grateful. Chapter 188, Fighting for It. The Demon Emperor's tomb is cracked. There is no doubt that the three young figures are Xiao Fan, Wang Teng and Pang Bo. Although the three rushed out of the ancient temple, they were in different directions. Xiao Fan, who was closest to the crystal coffin, became the focus of attention of the masters of the Ji family and the Yuanyang Holy Land. Seeing the crystal coffin, everyone chose to attack without hesitation. Dozens of big hands condensed with light suddenly grabbed the crystal coffin. While fighting for the crystal coffin, they also had a fierce fight with each other, and Xiao Fan was naturally implicated in this wave of fighting. The 18 ancient chariots of the Ji family all surrounded them, and the people of the Yuanyang Holy Land were galloping. Wang Teng and Pang Bo were also unwilling to be lonely, and took advantage of the chaos to grab the crystal coffin again. However, they all avoided Xiao Fan intentionally or unintentionally. All kinds of terrifying brilliance splashed everywhere, dyeing the night sky colorful. Crack! The crystal coffin could not withstand the impact of so many strong people, slowly cracked, and then shattered with a bang. When Xiao Fan saw the cracks in the crystal coffin, his eyes condensed slightly, and he immediately dodged and retreated thousands of meters away without hesitation. On the other side, Pang Bo also retreated thousands of meters away early, with a flickering look in his eyes. Boom! As soon as the crystal coffin broke, a monstrous demonic force burst out in an instant, shaking everyone away. No one could withstand this violent force. The 4 ancient chariots of the Ji family that were blocking the front were shattered on the spot, and the 12 monks on them were like piles of yellow sand, turning into dust in an instant. Yuanyang Holy Land also suffered heavy losses. More than a dozen people were crushed by this monstrous demonic force, and both people and wild beasts turned into blood mist and died. Wang Teng saw Xiao Fan retreating on his own initiative, hesitated for a moment, and then retreated, but that brief moment of hesitation made him so shocked by the demonic force that his internal organs churned, and blood flowed from the corners of his mouth. The Emperor is really terrifying. It was just a heart left by the Great Emperor, and the killing intent of the heart was wiped out by the Green Emperor, but it had such a terrifying power. It was really powerful. Looking at the tragic scene below, Xiao Fan was also quite shocked. While sighing in his heart, Xiao Fan focused his sight on the center of the crystal coffin explosion. There was a bright red heart there, only the size of a fist, as crystal and bright as a red agate, with a strong blood-colored aura lingering around it, exuding endless demonic power and a strong breath of life. Boom, boom, dot. The crystal and bright red heart trembled and beat, and a dull sound came out, shaking the night sky. Although the treasure was in front, no one dared to approach and take it, because as the bright red heart beat, the people around would feel a burst of blood. Blood vessels seemed to burst, and the heart would feel a sharp pain. The closer you get, the more obvious this situation will be. Even many people couldn't bear the pressure and kept retreating to the back. The heart of the Great Emperor is the sacred heart of a great emperor of my demon race. Suddenly, a powerful demon recognized the origin of this heart and cried out in surprise. At this moment, the heart of the demon emperor suddenly soared into the sky, turned into a blood-colored divine light, and rushed into the distant sky. Stop it! Never let it go! Stop it at all costs! The people of the Ji family and the Yuanyang Holy Land shouted together, and at the same time turned into rainbow light, chasing after the heart of the demon emperor. At this moment, bursts of melodious fairy music came from the sky, and more than a dozen women came gracefully. These more than a dozen women were all dressed in white clothes that were whiter than snow. Although they were not absolutely beautiful, they were all pure and beautiful, without being tainted by the breath of the world. They were extremely light and flew gracefully, like fairies floating on the water, and like dancing elves, not heeding worldly fireworks, transcending the world. Yaokai Holy Land has always been a peaceful place. Are you going to compete for the Demon Emperor's treasure this time? When the people from the Ji family and the Yuanyang Holy Land saw the newcomers, they all looked solemn and tried to test the situation. The two sides exchanged a few words. After the women from the Yaokai Holy Land said they would not participate in the competition, the people from the Ji family and the Yuanyang Holy Land were relieved. However, They were worried that other Holy Land forces would come, so they also sent out strong men to report the news and ask the Holy Land to send strong men to help. However, before those so-called strong men returned, new big men came in a mighty way. Not long after, 5 so-called big men arrived here. Xiao Fan sensed it a little bit. These so-called big men were just barely entering the realm of the second great power of the immortal. Xiao Fan casually glanced at the 5 people below who were attacking the Demon Emperor's Yang tomb. His figure flashed and he directly activated the power of space. In an instant, he appeared in a place surrounded by 5 stone mountains. The 5 stone mountains looked bare and there was almost no abnormality. However, Xiao Fan knew that the demon clan had set up a ban here, and there was a treasure pot hidden under the stone mountain, waiting to seize the demon emperor's imperial weapons. Not only the imperial weapons, but also the demon emperor's heart were obtained by them in the same way. Now the demon emperor's heart is deep in the stone mountain below. However, Xiao Fan was not in a hurry to seize the demon emperor's heart. After Xiao Fan arrived here, he directly performed yin-yang escape and hid his body in the void, waiting for the imperial weapons to appear, and then he would reap the benefits. Boom! With the final blow of the 5 mysterious masters, the demon emperor's tomb was finally broken. The magnificent ancient palace made a rumbling sound and completely collapsed. A monstrous demonic aura burst out from the broken demon emperor's tomb and raged in all directions. Endless rays of light flew out from the demon emperor's tomb. But they were exactly spiritual treasures. The 5 mysterious masters all released big hands with brilliant light and captured spiritual treasures one by one. More spiritual treasures flew in all directions. All the cultivators went crazy and fought desperately for those spiritual treasures. The area around the demon emperor's tomb became chaotic again. 5 big men guarded the exit of the demon emperor's tomb, carefully checking, trying to seize the most precious treasure of the eastern wilderness human race and the demon emperor's imperial weapon. However, they never found anything. Just as they were in doubt, a bright beam of light suddenly rushed out from the ruins of the demon emperor's tomb, which made the sun, moon and stars pale in comparison. It was too dazzling, as if the sun had exploded. The bright divine light streaked across the sky, causing extremely terrifying energy fluctuations, causing many cultivators around to fall from the sky. It was emitting unparalleled demonic power, like a world burning, and nothing could stop it. It's the weapon of the demon clan emperor, comparable to the eastern wilderness human race's treasure. The 5 big men woke up, shouted loudly, and chased after the divine light at the same time. Boom! The weapon of the demon emperor quickly landed on the stone mountain below Xiao Fan, and the stone mountain collapsed instantly, making a deafening sound. The location of the 5 stone mountains was instantly submerged by a brilliant energy ocean, and many monks who were close to them were directly annihilated into blood mist. At this moment, an extremely soft green haze bloomed inside the collapsed stone mountain, and green light shot up into the sky. Chapter 189 The Fisherman Benefits. New sign-in. The soft and holy glow made people feel calm. Almost everyone was attracted by the glow. At this moment, a huge green treasure bowl rushed up from the ground and sucked in the treasure of the demon emperor. Many people present recognized it. It was the treasure bowl of the demon. At this moment, there was a group of extremely dazzling light shining in the treasure bowl. It was the treasure of the demon. The light was so dazzling that it was hard to see what it looked like. It kept rotating in the treasure bowl, like the universe and the stars were rotating. Not only was there a vast and unpredictable demon power surging, but there was also a blazing divine light constantly shooting out. In front of the treasure bowl, there was a woman with an unparalleled beauty, the most beautiful in the world, and an almost perfect figure and appearance. It was the little princess of the demon, Yan Ruiyu. Thank you for your help, seniors. Otherwise, even if the descendants of the demon emperor came in person, it would be difficult to really collect the emperor's treasure. Yan Ruiyu smiled and said, while she was about to put away the treasure bowl and leave. However, the next second, the treasure bowl suddenly disappeared. Yan Ruiyu had laid out the Tao pattern in advance, and she did not notice anything unusual around her. When she began to collect the treasure bowl, she also activated the Tao pattern, and instantly crossed the void. Damn, who is that? As Yan Ruiyu disappeared, A female voice full of anger came faintly. Above the place where Yan Ruiyu had just been, Xiao Fan looked at the direction where Yan Ruiyu left with a smile on his face, thinking secretly, "I'll let you take the blame for me." This little demon girl was well prepared. She carved the Tao pattern there, condensed the sky power, and crossed the void. I'm afraid she is thousands of miles away now. Several mysterious big men launched a terrifying attack on Yan Ruiyu, but failed to cause any harm. Seeing Yan Ruiyu leave, they all looked cold and spoke coldly. I just don't know what her last sentence means. Is there someone who secretly took action and took advantage of it? One of them frowned, with some doubt in his voice. The others all had flickering expressions, but they did not get the answer. According to their perception, there were no strange strong men in the area, let alone the breath of the Demon Emperor's treasure. In desperation, several people had to give up the idea of looking for the Demon Emperor's treasure and rushed to the ruins of the Demon Emperor's tomb again, because the Eastern Wilderness human race's treasure that they wanted most had not appeared yet. Yes, I was just thinking about signing in, but I didn't expect to have an unexpected gain. Xiao Fan consciously checked the treasure bowl that he had collected in the system space, and he was in a very good mood. Xiao Fan was not in a hurry to check the treasures in the treasure bowl. Now it was obviously not the right time. He was going to check these treasures after returning to the Qi world. However, before returning to the Qi world, the signing in matter naturally could not be forgotten. Thinking of this, Xiao Fan directly gave the system a sign-in command in his heart. System, sign in. Xiao Fan had just given the system the sign-in command, and the familiar voice of the system sounded in his mind again. Ding! Sign in successfully. Congratulations to the host. You have obtained the 6 paths of Samsara Fist. 6 paths of Samsara Fist. Such a powerful boxing technique. When the 6 paths of Samsara Fist was used, the mountains collapsed and the ceased tsunami. The sun and the moon lost their light, and the stars shifted. Xiao Fan remembered that in the original work, the first person to practice the 6 paths of Samsara Fist was the old madman, and later the old madman passed this set of boxing techniques to Yi Fan. The old madman once used the 6 paths of Samsara Fist to fight 3 ancient ancestors alone. In Yi Fan's hands, this set of boxing techniques also exerted an extremely extraordinary power. After completing the sign-in, Xiao Fan casually glanced at the melee below, and did not stay for long. He directly returned to the Qi world through the Wanji chat group. As for the Yan tomb of the King Emperor, Xiao Fan felt that he should stay away from it. Although his current cultivation strength is not considered a weak person in the world of covering the sky, it is still far behind the Emperor. After returning to the Qi world, Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and he flashed to the Yuanqi Tower, and then took out the cornucopia from the system space and placed it in the Yuanqi Tower. Suddenly, soft and holy rays of light appeared in the Yuanqi Tower. Xiao Fan checked and found that in the cornucopia, in addition to a green lotus with an extremely terrifying aura, there were 7 or 8 spiritual treasures and spiritual medicines. There is no doubt that the green lotus is the imperial weapon left by the Green Emperor. As for the Demon Emperor's heart, it was not in the cornucopia. It's a pity. Xiao Fan was slightly moved and a little regretful when he saw that the Demon Emperor's heart was missing. However, it was not bad to be able to obtain the Green Emperor's imperial weapon and 7 or 8 spiritual treasures. After all, Xiao Fan originally just wanted to sign in. Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and he easily took out all the 7 or 8 spiritual treasures from the cornucopia and put them into the ring. However, when Xiao Fan wanted to take out the Green Lotus Imperial weapon, he encountered trouble. As soon as Xiao Fan's hand approached the Green Lotus Imperial weapon, a strong demonic power was released from the Green Lotus, which repelled Xiao Fan's hand. Obviously, it is not so easy to get an Imperial weapon, especially an Imperial weapon of the demon race. Can this thing only be looked at but not used? Looking at the brilliant blue lotus that released powerful medicinal power, Xiao Fan couldn't help but frown slightly. Xiao Fan tried several times in a row, but found that he could not subdue the blue lotus, so he made up his mind and uploaded the blue lotus to the chat group wall. Group member Xiao Fan uploaded a blue lotus imperial weapon and received 5 billion points. Soon, a familiar prompt appeared in the chat group. Seeing the prompt of the Wanji chat group, All the members in the group were immediately excited. Yan Lingjai, brother Xiao Fan got 5 billion points at one time. It's too strong. Envy, Zhang Yuan, 5 billion points. I can't even think about it. Master Xiao is too powerful. Worship, Xiaoxiao, Blue Lotus Imperial Weapon. Is this the imperial weapon of the King Emperor in the world of covering the sky? Lord Thunder Emperor seems to have gone to the world of covering the sky recently. Wang Teng, Xiao Fan, it was you who stole the Azure Emperor's imperial weapon. Yubuku, it seems that young Master Wang also knows about this. Wang Teng, Humphrey, Xiao Fan just returned from our world not long ago, while others were fighting outside. He hid in the dark and seized the most precious thing in the Demon Emperor's tomb. He is really insidious. Linking Zhu, since the tomb is open, it is natural for everyone to use their own methods to seize the treasure. Zangbo, Miss Ling is right. Huang Rong, I am afraid that young Master Wang has suffered a loss at the hands of brother Xiao Fan again. Smirk, Yan Lingjai, I think so too. Xiao Fan did not pay attention to the message in the chat group at this time. After uploading the Azure Lotus Imperial Weapon to the mall in exchange for points, he quickly browsed the mall to see what he could buy in the mall. After the chat group mall lifted the limit of refreshing 5 items per day, Xiao Fan has not browsed the items in the mall himself. This time, with a large amount of points in his account, he can carefully select them. Well, this one is good, this is it. After browsing in the chat group mall for a quarter of an hour, Xiao Fan finally found a product that suits his use. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 190. The auction house opens. Changes in Canaan. Purple crystal dragon blood fruit, worth 5 billion points, can greatly improve the strength of cultivation after taking it. Looking at the introduction of purple crystal dragon blood fruit in the chat group mall, Xiao Fan immediately chose to buy it without any hesitation. Suddenly, a crystal clear spiritual fruit with a purple crystal luster appeared in Xiao Fan's hand. There was a dragon-shaped blood red line on the spiritual fruit, which seemed to be constantly moving, looking very magical. I don't know how much my cultivation strength can be improved after taking the spiritual fruit. I hope it's worth the price. Looking at the spiritual fruit in his hand, Xiao Fan whispered. After a slight hesitation, Xiao Fan did not take this purple crystal dragon blood fruit directly, but collected it into the system space first. Anyway, any spiritual medicine, put into the system space, does not have to worry about the efficacy of the medicine fading over time. The reason why Xiao Fan did not take this spiritual fruit directly was because he considered the upcoming official opening of Wanbao Auction House. There are all kinds of people in the Black Horn region. Although Zi is a 7th level magic beast, he may not be able to control the situation. The most important thing is that Xiao Fan doesn't know how long it will take to refine this spiritual fruit. Therefore, before taking the spiritual fruit, Xiao Fan prepared to make some arrangements to avoid any unexpected situations. After making a decision, Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and he went directly out of the Yuanqi Tower and returned to his room in the backyard of the auction house. Yuf was originally worried that there would be some trouble at the Wanbao auction house, which was about to open. However, after learning that Xiao Fan had returned, she immediately put her worries aside. Time passed quickly. Soon, it was the day when Wanbao Auction House officially opened. After more than a month of publicity, there were almost no people in the Black Horn region who didn't know the reputation of Wanbao Auction House. Of course, what attracted the heroes of the Black Horn region the most was the auction list promoted by Wanbao Auction House. Because Wanbao Auction House officially opened and the first auction was about to be held, Leiying was already crowded. Some familiar practitioners gathered together and couldn't help but have some chaotic discussions. Do you think that the newly opened Wanbao Auction House can really produce so many good things? Since they listed them on the auction list, they should be able to produce them. Otherwise, wouldn't they be fooling the entire Black Horn region? I don't believe that the people of Leiying have such courage. It's hard to say. Dling pills, Huangjai pills, Pozon pills, Which one is not something that others have been racking their brains for? Wanbao auction house actually put all of them up for auction. Isn't it too exaggerated? If it were me, I would definitely not put them up for auction. Haha, you are you, the master behind Lei, who was able to kill Medicine Emperor Han Feng and kill the two elders Jin and Yin. Naturally, your ability is not comparable to you and me. Wait and see. In different places in Lei, people were all discussing Wanbao auction house, and at the same time, many people were discussing the mysterious city lord of Lei. While discussing, many people were heading to Wanbao auction house. Xiao Fan, King Lin, Zhu Yan, Yixian and others were at a corner of the top floor of the auction house, watching the noisy auction venue below. As for Yif and Zhao, they were arranging the auction below. Ziyi followed Yif and Zhao, ready to deal with emergencies at any time. However, I don't know whether it was because of the treasures listed in the auction list or because of the deterrence of Lei Cheng hanging the two elders Jin and Yin on the top of the city. When everyone entered the auction house, they did not cause any trouble. Many prominent figures in the Black Horn region came to the newly opened auction house venue. Amid the expectations of countless people in the auction venue, Yif, wearing a red cheongsam, walked up to the auction platform in the middle of the venue with lotus steps. Yif introduced Wanbao auction house with a sweet smile, said some polite words, and then said with a smile, "I know that you all come to Wanbao auction house for the treasures on the auction list. So I won't waste your time by talking nonsense. The auction will officially begin." As she spoke, Yif raised her jade hand lightly, bent down slightly, and took out a jade plate from a moving cart next to her. There was a small white jade bottle on the jade plate. Yif raised the white jade bottle in her hand slightly, and in the expectant eyes of countless people in the auction venue, she smiled and explained, "For some reasons, the items for this auction may far exceed the items listed in the auction list. The jade bottle contains the spiritual object of heaven and earth, the earth core tempering milk." Earth core tempering milk, what is that? When the people in the auction venue heard Yif's words, someone asked the person next to him in confusion. Of course, there were also people who knew about the earth core tempering milk. After hearing what Yif said, they sat up straight instantly and looked at the white jade bottle in Yif's hand with burning eyes. Yif did not keep the secret and quickly continued to explain, "The earth core tempering milk is formed with the help of the power of heaven and earth. It takes 100 years to become mist, 1,000 years to become liquid, and 10,000 years to become milk. It can improve a person's bones and have the effect of cleansing the meridians and marrow. It can directly play the role that some rare elixirs can play." Wow! After listening to Yif's introduction, everyone in the auction venue was in an uproar. They didn't expect that the first auction item of Wanbao auction house would be such a precious thing. They must take pictures of this thing. Many people were eager to grab the earth core tempering milk immediately. Yif looked at the excited people below and said with a smile, "Let's start the bidding. The earth core tempering milk has a starting price of 1 million gold coins, 1,100,000. As soon as Yif's voice fell, a bidder's voice immediately rang out in the auction venue. "That's Fan Ling, the young master of the Blood Clan. I didn't expect that he would be the first to bid." The people in the auction hall looked in the direction of the voice, and after recognizing the person who bid, many people were shocked. 1,200,000. Moya, the young master of the Black Emperor clan, followed closely and raised the price. Soon, people from other forces also joined the bidding. The Eight Gates, the Danyan clan, the Luosha clan, the Crazy Lion gang, etc., all joined the bidding. As for those casual cultivators, they were frightened when they saw such a scene, and almost no one dared to bid. After a fierce bidding, it was finally the Blood Clan master Fan Lao who personally bid, gritted his teeth and offered a price of 5 million. And took the small bottle of earth core tempering milk. After the auction of the earth core tempering milk was over, Yif raised her jade hand lightly, and another white jade bottle appeared in her hand. Seeing everyone's expectant eyes, Yif smiled and said, "The second auction item is Dling Pill. I don't need to introduce it to you. Let's start the auction. The starting price is still 1 million gold coins, 1,100,000, 1,200,000. Soon, Another round of fierce bidding began. After Dling Pill, Huangjai Pill, Pozhan Pill, Zhuan-level advanced skills, Earth-level fighting skills, etc. were auctioned. Everyone in the auction venue was shocked by the amazing items. Although many auctions are held every year in the Black Horn region, over the years, no auction has an item that can compare to the Wanbao auction house. Xiao Fan felt a little regretful when he saw that the auction went smoothly without any trouble. If someone made trouble, he would not mind taking action directly to uproot the power they belong to and shock the others in the Black Horn region again. "Let's go back," Xiao Fan said to Xiaoxiao and the others after the auction ended successfully, and then turned to walk towards the backyard. Boom! At this moment, Xiao Fan suddenly heard a terrifying roar from the direction of Canaan College. "You wait here, I'll go see what happened." Xiao Fan frowned and told Xiaoxiao and the others. Zhu Yan immediately shouted, "I'll go too." Zhu Yan was a little worried about the elder of the inner courtyard, Su Qian. Xiao Fan nodded slightly, put his arm around Zhu Yan, and flew quickly towards the inner courtyard of Canaan College. Chapter 191 The strange fire rioted. Xiao Yan panicked. Xiao Fan brought Zhu Yan back to the inner courtyard of Canaan Academy. As soon as he returned to the inner courtyard, Xiao Fan sensed the source of the roar he had heard before, which was the location of the Tanfan refining Qi Tower in the academy. At this moment, the area around the Tanfan refining Qi Tower had turned into a red ocean. The 18 elders of Canaan Academy all spread their fighting spirit wings and kept trying to reinforce the seal of the Tanfan refining Qi Tower. Unfortunately, their strength was still too poor, and their efforts were in vain. Boom! Another earth-shattering explosion suddenly resounded through the sky. The top of the extremely solid Tanfan refining Qi Tower exploded, and the hot magma column gushed out in the horrified eyes of many students in the distance. It was the fallen heart flame under the Tanfan refining Qi Tower that broke through the seal on the Tanfan refining Qi Tower with all its strength. When Xiao Fan arrived with Zhu Yan, they happened to see the last scene of the seal being broken by the fallen heart flame. At this moment, the energy between the heaven and earth in the entire inner courtyard suddenly rioted. The fallen heart flame seemed to be extremely excited because it had broken through the seal, and it emitted a series of sharp hissing sounds. The overwhelming magma was scattered everywhere, and fierce flames suddenly rose up wherever the magma fell. Therefore, in a short period of time, the area within a few dozen meters near the Tanfan refining Qi Tower was turned into a sea of fire. As the magma was scattered, a huge invisible fire python that was dozens of feet long suddenly shot out from it, feeling the long-lost freedom, and its huge triangular eyes were filled with a very human ecstasy. This invisible fire python was the form of the fallen heart flame. Canaan Academy's Grand Elder Su Qian looked at the huge invisible fire python with a solemn expression and shouted loudly, "Elders, let's form a 1,000-layer ceiling formation together." Xiao Fan stepped forward and said, "Grand Elder, elders, please step back. Let me do it." The 1,000-layer ceiling formation has no effect on the current falling heart flame. After that, without waiting for Su Qian and others to respond, Xiao Fan waved his hand and a gentle force was sent out, directly sending all 18 elders hundreds of meters away. After Su Qian and the other 18 elders retreated to one side, they all looked at each other in surprise. Elder Liu exclaimed, "Is this a Zun strongman? It's so strong." The other elders were also shocked at this time. They naturally didn't know that Xiao Fan had already broken through to the Zheng realm. Xiao Fan ignored the shock of Su Qian and others. After sending the elders hundreds of meters away, he turned around and looked at the huge invisible fire python and said lightly, "Are you going back by yourself, or should I beat you back?" Gee! The invisible fire python transformed by the fallen heart flame screamed to the sky, and the sharp voice was full of anger and ferocity. Then, the entrenched invisible fire python suddenly stretched out its body, and then its huge body shot out toward Xiao Fan like lightning. The speed was comparable to lightning, and there was no delay at all because of the latter's huge body. Where the fire python shuttled through, a vacuum mark was left in the void, and the temperature was scorching. Seeing this scene, the elders such as Su Qian were all solemn, and couldn't help but worry about Xiao Fan. Su Qian said loudly, "Elders, be prepared. If Elder Xiao Fan is defeated, Everyone will immediately help." "Yes." Hearing this, the other elders echoed. Xiao Fan looked at the invisible fire python's movements, smiled and shook his head. "It seems that we have to defeat it first." When the voice fell, Xiao Fan opened the 5 fingers of his right hand, urged the fighting spirit in his body, and instantly formed a giant hand flashing with thunder, grabbing the invisible fire python. The invisible fire python, transformed by the fallen heart flame, felt threatened by the giant hand of thunder, made a sharp sound, and rushed towards Xiao Fan at a faster speed. However, before he rushed to Xiao Fan, he was directly caught by the giant hand of thunder. The huge invisible fire python made a sharp sound again, struggling and twisting its body desperately, trying to get rid of the giant hand of thunder, but it couldn't do it at all. Bang! Xiao Fan didn't indulge it either. His mind moved slightly, and the giant hand of thunder suddenly locked, instantly crushing the invisible fire python. A scream came out, and the invisible fire python instantly turned into countless scattered flames, flying around. Countless students stood on the treetops and roofs 100 meters away from the Tanfan refining tower, looking at the huge monster rushing out of the Tanfan refining tower with horror. None of them had ever thought that such a ferocious creature would be hidden in the place where they often practiced. When they saw that Zhu Yuanzhang and the other 18 elders left directly at Xiao Fan's request, they were quite surprised. At this moment, seeing Xiao Fan casually crush the invisible fire python, they were immediately shocked. "This must be the young elder who has just joined the academy. I didn't expect him to be so strong." When the academy announced that there was an 18 or 19-year-old elder, everyone was very unconvinced. "Now we know how charming this young elder is. I really don't know how this elder practiced. He is much stronger than the great elder at such a young age." I heard that the 3 new members of the academy, Zhao Ding, Zhao Li, and Xiao Yan, are all brothers of Elder Zhao. Maybe we can ask them about Elder Zhao's deeds. At this time, opposite Xiao Fan, the invisible fire python that was crushed by him quickly condensed again. Its triangular eyes looked at Xiao Fan with anger and fear. It didn't expect that it had finally broken through the seal and gained freedom, but it would meet a strong man like Xiao Fan. In its perception, the person in front of it was even stronger than the hateful old man who sealed it back then. The fierce triangular eyes of the newly condensed invisible fire python scanned the surroundings, and suddenly revealed a strange color, and then made another sharp sound, and the body automatically dispersed, and endless flames instantly filled the area of hundreds of meters. The next moment, a huge invisible giant python condensed again in the flames, and opened its huge mouth, swallowing towards a certain position in the Canaan Academy student area. At that position, it was Xiao Yan who was silently observing the riot of the fallen heart flame like other students. At the same time, Xiao Yan was still thinking about how to think of a way to seize the fallen heart flame and refine and absorb it. However, Xiao Yan never thought that before he absorbed and refined the fallen heart flame, this guy would target him. "Fuck, this guy wants to swallow me." Seeing the fallen heart flame open its huge mouth to swallow him, Xiao Yan couldn't help but burst out a swear word, and wanted to use his body skills to quickly dodge. At this moment, Xiao Yan suddenly felt that his body moved uncontrollably. "Fuck, is he going to die?" Xiao Yan was shocked and struggled desperately, but to no avail. Chapter 192, Sealing the Strange Fire, Lord Skyfire. Not only Xiao Yan himself, but also Yao Chen, who was hiding in the bone flame ring, also had no way out at this moment. But soon, Xiao Yan relaxed, because he appeared directly hundreds of meters away, and his body did not feel any discomfort. But Xiao Fan appeared at the place where he was just now. This is space shift. How is it possible? Yao Chen was shocked when he saw this scene. Xiao Yan asked in his heart, "Teacher, is space shift an ability of Zun?" At this time, Yao Chen and Xiao Yan already understood that Xiao Fan had used a method to save them. Yao Chen said, "Space shift is an ability that only a 6-starred Sheng can master." Xiao Yan was shocked when he heard Yao Chen's answer. 6-starred Sheng? My third brother is already a 6-starred Sheng? This is too amazing. Xiao Yan, who was shocked in his heart, also subconsciously looked at Xiao Fan's position. When the huge invisible fire python was about to swallow Xiao Fan, A transparent chi protective shield suddenly formed around Xiao Fan's body. Bang! A dull sound rang out. The invisible fire python was too fast and had no time to react. It directly hit the chi protective shield. Without waiting for the invisible fire python to react, Xiao Fan suddenly condensed a lightning sword in his right hand and stabbed it hard at a snake scale half a foot below the giant mouth of the invisible fire python. The location of the snake scale was exactly the origin of the fallen heart flame. The next moment, the huge invisible fire python suddenly raised its huge head. The sharp sound waves, mixed with the pain that was difficult to conceal, resounded in the sky. As soon as the shrill scream sounded, the body of the invisible fire python quietly became illusory in the horrified eyes. Yao Chen in the bone flame ring saw this scene and said to Xiao Yan in amazement, "Your third brother is really amazing. He found the origin of the fallen heart flame so quickly. The fallen heart flame will soon reveal its true form. After revealing its true form, the fallen heart flame will be weak for a period of time. This period will be the best opportunity for you to absorb it. Go to your third brother and ask for mercy. He should agree to let you refine the fallen heart flame." Xiao Yan was a little hesitant when he heard Yao Chen's words. In the past 2 years, his third brother Xiao Fan has helped him so much that he was a little embarrassed to speak. At this moment, under the gaze of everyone in Canaan College, the huge body of the invisible fire python suddenly became illusory. In the illusory body, a group of strange flames that seemed invisible but could make people clearly feel its existence, strangely became more and more dazzling somewhere under the huge mouth of the fire python. After a while, the sharp scream of the fallen heart flame suddenly resounded through the sky again. The invisible flame that filled the sky and the earth suddenly disappeared completely, as if it had never existed. As the flames disappeared, the temperature around them also dropped sharply. The elders and students of Canaan Academy all paid close attention to the location where the flame disappeared. There was a strange flame half a meter in size, rising slowly. This flame seemed invisible, but no matter who saw it, they all had a strange feeling of substance. In the flame, there was something slowly flowing, like an elf. The shrunken fallen heart flame looked much more agile, as if it had human wisdom. Yan flashed and came to Xiao Fan. Looking at the half-jong-sized flame, she blinked and said, "Is this the original appearance of the thing under the Tanfan refining chi tower?" Xiao Fan nodded slightly. "Yes, it is the fallen heart flame ranked 14th on the different fire list. The cultivation effect of the Tanfan refining chi tower comes from this fallen heart flame." At this time, the fallen heart flame seemed to understand that it was no match for Xiao Fan. It flashed and suddenly fell into the broken top of the Tanfan refining chi tower, and quickly jumped underground. "Grand Elder, you take the other elders to do the aftermath," Xiao Fan shouted to Sukion and others, and his figure flashed. In an instant, he also fell into the burning heaven refining chi tower and chased the fallen heart flame. In an instant, Xiao Fan caught up with the fallen heart flame. However, he had already arrived at the underground world under the Tanfan refining chi tower. What caught his eye was blood-red magma, rolling endlessly. The falling heart flame fell directly into the magma, constantly absorbing the flame energy in the magma world, and quickly recovering from the damage, and turned into an invisible fire python again. However, compared with the previous one, it looked a size smaller, and it was obvious that it had not yet recovered to its peak. The invisible fire python transformed by the falling heart flame made a sharp sound again, and its huge snake tail slapped heavily in the magma. Rumble. In the blood-red magma world, a red wave suddenly rose and swept towards Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan shook his head slightly. "Do you think this is your home court, so you can show off your power? Forget it. I'd better get rid of you as soon as possible." When the voice fell, Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and a giant fighting spirit hand condensed in an instant, and grabbed the invisible fire python again. At the same time, a space barrier was directly formed around him and the invisible fire python, separating them from the magma world below. Seeing this, the invisible fire python transformed by the falling heart flame immediately made a sharp sound, and there seemed to be fear in the sound, swallowing the sky and devouring the earth. Xiao Fan shouted in his heart, and directly used the heaven-devouring and earth-devouring divine power. A black vortex appeared in his palm, which continuously devoured the flame energy around the invisible fire python. A quarter of an hour later, the invisible fire python was left with only a small flame snake less than 1 foot long. This is the true origin of the fallen heart flame. Xiao Fan casually placed a band around the small snake of the origin of the fallen heart flame, and then put it into the system space. However, Xiao Fan was not in a hurry to return, but continued to go deep into the Magna world. Xiao Fan remembered that in the Magna world, there was the soul of the sky fire venerable Yao Dan Hao, and there was also a juvenile body of the fallen heart flame. Xiao Fan was going to take this sky fire venerable under his command, and the juvenile body of the fallen heart flame would be left to Canaan Academy. With Xiao Fan's current strength, it was naturally not difficult to break into the Magna world. The flame lizard men along the way were easily solved by him, and soon he came to the location of Yao Dan Hao's corpse. On the skeleton of Skyfire Venerable, there was a fallen heart flame the size of a head. Xiao Fan took a quick look at it, then walked forward, with his palm slightly bent, ready to capture the fallen heart flame. At this moment, a brilliant white light suddenly erupted from the skeleton, and the white light slowly moved, and finally turned into an illusory figure of an old man. The figure was dressed in a white robe, his hair and beard were all snow white, his face was old, and his plain eyes flashed with a faint brilliance. "You are Skyfire Venerable Yao Dan Hao, right?" Xiao Fan saw the illusory figure of an old man and laughed lightly. Hearing this, Yao Dan Hao's soul shadow shook slightly. "Who are you? Why do you know me?" Chapter 193. Yao Chen was shocked and went into seclusion again. Xiao Fan said casually, "I want to know, so I know. Follow me out of here. I can revive you, but you have to serve me for 10 years. How about it?" Yao Dan Hao was a little skeptical and said, "You can revive me? How can I believe you?" Xiao Fan said indifferently, "It's up to you whether you believe it or not." After that, Xiao Fan waved his right hand, and a giant hand of thunder appeared again, grabbing the young body of the fallen heart flame. Seeing this, Yao Dan Hao stretched out his hand to intercept, but suddenly found that his soul was imprisoned in place, unable to move at all, and could only watch Xiao Fan put away the young body of the fallen heart flame. Sensing this change, Yao Dan Hao's expression suddenly changed, and the phantom of his soul trembled. After collecting the fallen heart flame, Xiao Fan finally released the imprisonment of Yao Dan Hao's soul. Yao Dan Hao looked at Xiao Fan with a serious look, and said in a deep voice, "Who are you?" Xiao Fan shrugged slightly. "Does it matter who I am? Besides, I'm not even 20 years old yet. Even if I tell you, you won't be able to know. After all, you have been dead for many years, haven't you?" Yao Dan Hao was slightly stunned when he heard this, then nodded and said, "You are right. You just said that you can resurrect me. Is that true?" Xiao Fan nodded slightly. "Of course it is true. How about it? Do you agree to my conditions?" Yao Dan Hao couldn't help but hesitate when he heard Xiao Fan's words. After a while, he said in a deep voice, "I can promise you, but the premise is that you can resurrect me successfully first." Xiao Fan said indifferently, "Of course, in your current state, even if you want to work for me, it's useless." Yao Dan Hao couldn't help but twitch his expression when he heard this. Although what he said was true, why did it sound so uncomfortable? "Don't resist. I'll take you to a place first." Seeing Yao Dan Hao agreed, Xiao Fan didn't waste any more time. He said something and moved his mind to put him in the source tower. This. Could it be the legendary ancient body tree? After entering the source tower, Yao Dan Hao immediately saw the towering tree inside, and his eyes widened immediately, shocked. At this moment, Yao Dan Hao told Xiao Fan that he could revive him, which gave him more confidence. After putting away Yao Dan Hao's soul, Xiao Fan looked into the depths of the Magna world, pondered for a while, and finally did not go deeper. Although Xiao Fan knew that in the depths of the Magna world was the Chuash ancient emperor's cave, he couldn't go in now, and there was also the Taixu ancient dragon clan dragon emperor of the 9-star Daoxing level there, so he didn't need to waste time. With a decision in his mind, Xiao Fan went back to the ground. Not long after, Xiao Fan returned to the inner courtyard of Canaan College. Seeing Xiao Fan coming back, Su Qian hurriedly came up to him. "Elder Xiao Fan, what happened? Where is the fallen heart flame?" Xiao Fan said, "I have captured the fallen heart flame, and I also found a juvenile fallen heart flame. I think it would be better to leave the juvenile fallen heart flame in the Tanfan refining chi tower to prevent it from rising from time to time. What do you think, Elder?" Su Qian pondered for a moment and said, "I wonder if you could let me see the juvenile fallen heart flame?" "Of course," Xiao Fan said as he took out the juvenile fallen heart flame directly from the system space. Su Qian sensed the state of the young fallen heart flame, and his eyes suddenly lit up. "Elder Xiao Fan's suggestion is very good. Let's use it to replace the previous fallen heart flame." Xiao Fan smiled. "Then it's settled. As for the mature fallen heart flame, I will deal with it myself." Su Qian nodded and said, "No problem. If it weren't for you, the academy would have been destroyed by the mature fallen heart flame this time. What's more, you found a safe fallen heart flame for the academy. I have no objection to you disposing of the previous fallen heart flame, and the other elders will definitely have no objection either." Xiao Fan chatted with Su Qian for a few more words, and then the two went to the bottom floor of the Tanfan refining chi tower together, placed the young fallen heart flame, and sealed it. After handling this matter, Xiao Fan found Xiao Yan and gave him the mature fallen heart flame. Xiao Fan planned to train Xiao Yan to become a Demperor, and then let Xiao Yan stay in Qi continent to protect the Xiao family, and he would have no worries and could freely travel the world. Anyway, those strange fires would not be of much use to him. Afterwards, Xiao Fan gave Xiao Yan a few more instructions, and then left Canaan Academy with Ziyan and returned to Wanbao auction house. "You, the third brother, are really generous. I envy your brotherly love." Looking at Xiao Fan's departing back, Yao Chen said to Xiao Yan with some emotion. Xiao Yan said, "We have been close since we were young, but I don't know how to repay my third brother for his kindness." Yao Chen said, "No matter what, you should first work hard to cultivate and improve your strength, and then you will have the opportunity to help your third brother, so you should first find a place to refine this fallen heart flame. Of course, before refining the fallen heart flame, you still have to make some preparations." "That's right, teacher, but I'll wait a few days to see what my third brother wants me to do, and then I'll start refining the fallen heart flame after I help him." Xiao Yan nodded slightly and responded, but when Xiao Fan gave the fallen heart flame to Xiao Yan, he mentioned that he would ask him for help in a few days to use the strange fire. On the other side, after Xiao Fan and Ziyan returned to the Wanbao auction house, they bought some medicinal materials from the chat group mall, and collected some medicinal materials in the mountains, and soon gathered all the medicinal materials for refining the yin-yang soul pill. After gathering enough materials, Xiao Fan directly used the automatic alchemy furnace to refine the yin-yang soul pill. Afterwards, Xiao Fan found Xiao Yan again and brought him to the source energy tower. This is the ancient body tree. As soon as he entered the source energy tower, Yao Chen floated out of the bone flame ring. Shocked, Xiao Fan smiled and said, "It is indeed the ancient body tree. It is with its help that I can improve so quickly." "Mr. Zhao, you are here." At this time, Yao Tanhao in the source energy tower also came forward and greeted Xiao Fan. Seeing that there was an extra soul body in the source energy tower, Yao Chen and Xiao Yan were very surprised. Xiao Yan asked Xiao Fan, "Third brother, who is this senior?" Xiao Fan introduced. "His name is Yao Tanhao, and he was a venerable when he was alive. I'm looking for you this time to ask you to help revive him." Xiao Yan was shocked when he heard this. To revive a person, the conditions required are very harsh, and I'm afraid my current ability is not enough. Xiao Fan smiled and said, "I'm looking for your help because you have enough ability. You just need to use the strange fire to assist. I have the 7th grade elixir yin-yang soul pill and the body of Zun." Xiao Yan said, "In this case, I will try my best to revive this senior." Xiao Fan casually grabbed the old ghost Zexing who was looking desperate on the side. You dare to kill me. The Soul Palace will not let you go." The old ghost Zexing also heard what Xiao Fan said just now, and seemed to understand something at this moment, and immediately spoke in a fierce voice. "Soul Palace, let them come." Xiao Fan smiled faintly, and directly slashed out with a soul sword, destroying the soul of the old ghost Zexing. Yao Tanhao, who was standing by, was shocked when he saw this. When Xiao Fan killed the old ghost Zixing just now, the terrifying aura made him feel cold. Even Yao Chen was shocked. The old ghost Zixing was like an ant in Xiao Fan's hands, and was crushed to death at will. It was really shocking. Xiao Fan ignored all this. After killing the old ghost Zixing, he gave the yin-yang soul pill to Xiao Yan and asked Xiao Yan to revive Yao Danhao. One day later, with the help of Xiao Yan, Yao Danhao was successfully resurrected. Perhaps because the realm of the corpse used was good. After Yao Danhao was resurrected, although he could not recover to the peak, he also reached the realm of 4-star Zun, and was grateful to Xiao Fan and Xiao Yan. After resurrecting Yao Danhao, Xiao Fan asked Yao Danhao to sit in the auction house, and told Xiao Yan's 3 brothers, as well as Yuf and others, and then returned to the Yuanqi Tower, took the purple crystal dragon blood fruit, and practiced in seclusion. Chapter 194 Continuous Breakthroughs and Care from Group Members. Inside the Yuanqi Tower, under the ancient body tree, Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and he took out the crystal clear purple dragon blood fruit from the system space. Without any hesitation, he swallowed it directly. The purple dragon blood fruit melted in his mouth, and instantly turned into a huge and pure energy, pouring into Xiao Fan's body meridians. Sensing the huge and pure energy, Xiao Fan immediately began to practice the exercises to refine and absorb it, and at the same time, he directly displayed the heaven-swallowing and earth-devouring magical power. As Xiao Fan refined and absorbed, his aura gradually strengthened. One day later, Xiao Fan's cultivation realm broke through from a 1-star Sheng to a 2-star Sheng, and this is just the beginning. As time goes by, the total amount of qi in Xiao Fan's body continues to expand, and his cultivation aura is also improving step by step. 2-star Sheng early stage, 2-star Sheng middle stage, 2-star Sheng late stage, 5-star Sheng peak, 6-star Sheng. It was not until Xiao Fan's cultivation broke through to the 6-star Sheng realm that he finally finished refining and absorbing the huge energy transformed from the purple crystal dragon blood fruit in his body. After an unknown amount of time, Xiao Fan felt that the huge and pure energy in his body had been refined, so he stopped practicing, slowly opened his eyes, and exhaled a long breath of turbid air. 6-star Sheng, not bad. It is the same standard as the standard of spending points to improve, but the speed of improvement is much slower. After sensing his current cultivation situation, Xiao Fan murmured in his mouth. Although he didn't know how long it had passed, Xiao Fan could roughly sense that the time for this retreat was not short. Of course, this was in reference to Xiao Fan's previous retreat records. Hualala. The branches of the ancient body tree trembled, as if to congratulate Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan smiled and said, "Brother Body, thank you for protecting me. I have been in seclusion for some time, and it is time for me to go out. I will come to see you later." When the voice fell, Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and he went out of the Yuanqi Tower directly, and soon appeared in his backyard room of Wanbao auction house. Xiao Fan just opened the door and saw Kinglin guarding his door as last time. "Master, you are out of seclusion." Kinglin saw Xiao Fan coming out and immediately greeted him with a happy face. Xiao Fan stretched out his hand to rub Kinglin's head and smiled. "Yes, I am out of seclusion." "How long did I stay in seclusion this time?" Kinglin said. "Master, you stayed in seclusion for 3 months this time." Xiao Fan raised his eyebrows slightly when he heard this. 3 months, it's a bit long. Kinglin nodded. "Yeah, Master, you stayed in seclusion for a long time this time. I feel like I haven't seen you for a long time." If other people heard the conversation between Xiao Fan and Kinglin, I'm afraid they would want to spit at them to death. For people in the Cheng realm, if they practice 24/7, they would be very happy if they could improve 1-star level in 3 years, let alone 3 months. Xiao Fan had been in seclusion for 3 months, and he had improved his cultivation to 5 stars in the Cheng realm. He still thought that the time was too long, which was really too much. As the two were talking, Zhi Yan suddenly came over, jumping and skipping. "Brother Xiao Fan, you finally came out of seclusion." "That's great. I have eaten all my pills. I can only eat some medicinal herbs recently. They are too bad." Zhi Yan ran to Xiao Fan, wrinkled her nose, and said in a delicate voice. Xiao Fan smiled and said, Bring the medicinal herbs here, and I will refine a batch of pills for you. Okay, Zhu Yan agreed, and took out a bunch of medicinal herbs directly from the ring. That's all. Thank you for your trouble, brother Xiao Fan. It's a small matter. Xiao Fan chuckled, and took out the automatic alchemy furnace to refine a batch of pills for Zhu Yan. Zhu Yan looked at the enriched medicine storehouse and was immediately very happy. Great, I can eat delicious medicine again. Thank you, brother Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan said casually, you're welcome. The three chatted for a while, and Xiao Fan took them to the front yard. When Xiaoxiao and Zhao Wu saw Xiao Fan, they were also very happy. Xiao Fan smiled and said, has anything happened recently? Yif said, with Zhu and Senior Tan Hao here, although there are occasional minor setbacks, overall it's been pretty smooth. Xiao Fan nodded and said, that's good. After everyone finished reminiscing about the past, Xiao Fan went directly to Yao Tan Hao, the venerable Tan Hao, and asked about the situation he had encountered during this period. Yao Tan Hao said, not long ago, I captured two zongs. They have many similarities with the owner of the corpse I used for resurrection. They seem to be trying to find out about the Zhuan Guardian and the Wu Guardian. Xiao Fan frowned slightly when he heard this. The guys in the Soul Palace are really haunting us. Yao Tan Hao said, young Master Zhao, do you want to interrogate those two people? Xiao Fan said indifferently, no need, just kill them. There is nothing to interrogate. Let the Soul Palace continue to send people to die. The Soul Palace's master, Hun Mai, is the strongest person in the Soul Palace, but he is only a 5-starred Sheng. Xiao Fan is now a 6-starred Sheng, so he naturally doesn't need to be afraid of the Soul Palace anymore. Xiao Fan plans to integrate the Northwest continent first and develop it into the Zhao family's back garden, and then go directly to Zhongzhou to make a final break with the Soul Palace. Yao Tan Hao nodded and said, I understand. Xiao Fan nodded slightly. Okay, that's it. I'm leaving first. After parting with Yao Tan Hao, Xiao Fan showed up at Canaan College, and then returned to the auction house again. With nothing to do, Xiao Fan once again immersed his consciousness in the Wanji chat group. In 3 months, the number of messages in the group was almost countless, and there were also many at Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan was too lazy to check them one by one, so he directly sent a message to the group to ask, Wanji chat group, chat interface, Xiao Fan, at all members, who at me before, what's the matter? Xiao Fan's message was just sent out, and there was an immediate response in the group. Yan Lingjai, at Xiao Fan, wow, brother Xiao Fan, you finally came out. I at you before, just because I saw that you hadn't been to the group for a long time, so I missed you. Hee. Playful, Zhang San. I wanted to thank Master Zhao before. I found the 9 Yang magic art in the Kunlun Mountains. Now my Wuji child has already started practicing the 9 Yang magic art, and the cold poison in his body has been initially contained. Xiao Fan, you're welcome. Actually, I didn't help much. I just moved my mouth. Zhang San, for Master Zhao, it may not be a big deal, but for me, it is a great favor. Huang Rong, at Xiao Fan, brother Xiao Fan. I also looked for you before. It was my father and mother who wanted to invite you to come and thank you in person. Last time you saved my mother, my father was only concerned with reminiscing with my mother and felt that he neglected you. Xiao Fan, haha, you can convey it to Island Master Huang and Madam Huang. There is no need to be so troublesome. I have already received your gratitude. Wan, what has Lord Thunder Emperor been busy with during this period? Why hasn't he come out for so long? Yan Lingjai, yes, brother Xiao Fan, have you encountered anything? Xiao Fan, thank you for your concern. I just practiced in seclusion for a while, but this time the time was a little longer. Xiaoxiao, Master Thunder Emperor has been in seclusion for so long, his cultivation must have improved a lot. Right? I wonder what realm you have reached now? Chapter 195. Group members worship and new members joining the group. Xiao Fan, not much, just from a 1-starred Sheng to a 6-starred Sheng. Xiaoxiao, that's not much of an improvement? Lord Thunder Emperor, you are too Versailles, aren't you? Surprised. Mike Zuyan, I wonder what realm the Sheng is. Linking Zhu, I'm curious too. Yan Lingjai, anyway, it must be very strong. When brother Xiao Fan was still at Huang, He had already swept through the gods in the world of Qian Renxu, worship, Xiao Fan. The 6-starred Sheng realm is almost equivalent to the 3rd level of Saint Venerable in Miss Mai's world. In Miss Ling's world, it is equivalent to the great success of the wheel-turning realm, Mai Xuyan. It's actually the Saint Venerable realm. In our world, saints can already be called strong, and the Saint Emperor realm is very rare. The Saint Venerable realm is probably only in the Tenshin Palace and Piumiao Huanfu, Linqingzhu, the great success of the wheel-turning realm. This realm is already the strength of the headmaster of a super sect, Huangrong. Although I don't know what realm he is in, I know he must be very strong. I should just worship him. Worship, Yan Lingjai. I worship Brother Xiao Fan. Worship, Xiao Fan. Okay, stop it. Others should stop copying and following suit. How is everyone's strength progressing recently? Qian Renxu, I barely crossed the boundary of the 1st level god not long ago, and should have reached the realm of the original God King in the God realm. Yubuku, with the help of Master Xiao, you has now reached the realm of unity between man and nature, and has no rivals in our world. Afterwards, the others also introduced their own cultivation situations, and at the same time, they did not forget to praise Xiao Fan. Ding. Li Hanyu joined the chat group. Ding. Luo Feng joined the chat group. Just as everyone in the group was chatting, the chat group suddenly sounded the reminder sound of a new member joining the group again. Zhang Yuan. Hey, there are new members joining the group again. Zhu Yuanzhang, welcome the newcomer. Yan Lingjai, welcome the newcomer. The newcomer will send a red envelope. Hee. Xiao Fan, welcome the newcomer. The world of the young man's song, Snow Moon City. Li Hanyu was practicing swordsmanship when she suddenly heard a strange voice in her mind. Her expression changed slightly and she shouted, "Who is it? Come out." However, no one responded to her. Li Hanyu carefully explored the surroundings, but found nothing. The voice in her mind kept ringing. At the same time, a chat interface appeared in her sight. From that interface, she could see the messages sent by different people. Under the effect of the 10,000 Worlds chat group, the languages and characters of different worlds can be converted to each other, so Li Hanyu can easily recognize the content of the messages sent by everyone in the chat group. Chat group? What is this? Looking at the messages from everyone in the group, Li Hanyu frowned slightly, feeling a little puzzled. Swallowed Star World, Jiangnan City, Yan District Prison. Late at night, when other prisoners were asleep, Luo Feng sat on the bed. His feet were crossed, so that the two soles of his feet were facing upwards. His hands were placed on his legs with his palms facing up. His waist and back were straight, and he was studying the Jin all-round cultivation method he saw in the martial arts hall. Suddenly, Luo Feng heard a mechanical prompt sound in his mind, and an illusory chat interface appeared in his sight. The chat group of all worlds. Seeing the general information of the chat group, Luo Feng's heart could not help but move slightly. In the devouring star world, chat groups are not unfamiliar. However, what surprised Luo Feng was that this chat group was actually the chat group of all worlds. Could it be connected to all worlds? Thinking in his heart, Luo Feng quickly checked the general situation of the chat group, and then tentatively sent a message. Chat group of all worlds. Chat interface. Luo Feng, hello everyone, thank you for your welcome. However, can this chat group really connect all worlds? Xiaoxiao, at Luo Feng. You read it right. The chat group of all worlds is indeed connected to all worlds. Through the chat group, people from all worlds can communicate. In addition, through the chat group of all worlds, you can also travel to the worlds of other group members. Luo Feng, is this the legendary way to find someone along the network cable? Lin Jiayu, what is a network cable? Xiaoxiao, the network cable is, however, the Wanji chat group connects all the heavens and all the worlds, which is much more powerful than the network cable. Xiaoxiao, at Luo Feng, although you know the chat group, you must be a little unfamiliar with this Wanji chat group. Let me tell you about the basic functions of the Wanji chat group. Xiaoxiao quickly introduced to others what the network cable is, and then explained the functions of the Wanji chat group. Luo Feng, at Xiaoxiao, thank you Miss Su for your introduction. Xiaoxiao, you're welcome. I am following the response of Lord Thunder Emperor. Group members help each other, especially those who are new to the group. Luo Feng, I wonder who Lord Thunder Emperor is? Curious. Yan Lingjai, at Xiao Fan. Brother Xiao Fan is Lord Thunder Emperor, and he is also the group leader of the Wanji chat group. Yan Lingjai, at Luo Feng, newcomers, please sign in quickly. If you get more points by signing in, remember to send red envelopes. Naughty. Xiao Fan, at Luo Feng, you can just call me by my name. We were selected from countless beings in the world and joined the chat group by the chat group. It is also fate. Helping each other and making progress together is the purpose of our chat group. Luo Feng, I see, thank you. Luo Feng thanked Xiao Fan, and then signed in the chat group. Ding. Luo Feng signed in successfully and got 8,000 points. Yan Lingjai, at Luo Feng, wow, the newcomer has good luck. Send a red envelope to celebrate. Expectation. Huang Rong, when I first joined the group, the signed-in points were less than 100. I really envy those who are lucky. Envy. Yi Wen, Mr. Luo's luck is indeed very good. In the sign-in record of the group, it seems to be ranked among the top 3. Wan. The first one is Lord Lady, and the second one is Mr. Wang Teng. His strength is also very strong. It seems that the newcomer is also a big boss. Worship. Zhang Yuan, worship the new boss. Worship. Luo Feng, you all think too highly of me. I am not even a warrior yet, so I dare not call myself a big boss. Baoquan, Yan Lingjai, regardless of whether I am a big boss or not, I will send out red envelopes first. Hehe. Smirk. Luo Feng, sending out red envelopes is no problem. Please take care of me in the future. Red envelope. Yan Lingjai received Luo Feng's red envelope and got 222 points. Linking Zhu received Luo Feng's red envelope and got 186 points. Dao Longnu received Luo Feng's red envelope and got 125 points. Toshan Hongong. Soon, the red envelopes sent by Luo Feng were all snatched away. Xiao Fan also snatched a red envelope, but it only had 300 points. After the red envelopes were snatched away, Luo Feng sent another message. Luo Feng, I just joined the group, and my points are limited. I hope you don't despise me. Baoquan. Xiao Fan, snatching red envelopes is just a fun thing. You don't have to care about the size of the red envelopes. Xiaoxiao, Lord Thunder Emperor is right. Yan Lingjai, yes, Brother Xiao Fan is right. I am always very happy every time I grab a red envelope. Dongba, I am a step late. I didn't grab the red envelope. What a pity. Zhu Yuanzhang, I am a step late too. Huang Rong, isn't there another newcomer? Looking forward to the red envelope from the other newcomer. Naughty. Yan Lingjai, at newcomer, please sign in and see how many points you can get. Then, don't forget to send the red envelope. Smirk. My dad is sick and in the hospital. I am accompanying him in the hospital. It is not very convenient to type. I also cannot affect other people in the ward at night. Let's stop here for today. The update volume may decrease slightly in the next few days. After I am discharged from the hospital and go home, I will try to update more. Please bear with me and don't abandon the book directly. Bowen, thank you. Chapter 196, Reality and Illusion, Heading to the World of Young People's Song. Xiao Fan, don't scare the newcomers. Xiao Fan, at Miss Lee, are you still not familiar with the chat group function, or do you have any concerns? Xiaoxiao, at, if you have any questions about the chat group, you can ask me. The World of the Young Man's Song, Snow Moon City. Li Hanyi looked at the messages sent by everyone in the virtual interface in his sight, and his expression was hesitant. After a little hesitation, Li Hanyi tried the sign-in function first. Ding. Group member Li Hanyi signed in successfully and obtained 1,255 points. After signing in, Li Hanyi checked his basic information according to Xiaoxiao's introduction, and the points there really changed a lot. Then, Li Hanyi browsed the chat group mall again, and after a while, he selected a Xiaoxiao pill and spent 1,000 points to buy it. This seems to be Xiaoxiao pill. Looking at the pill that appeared out of thin air in his hand, Li Hanyi couldn't help but be a little surprised, and at the same time, he basically believed in the existence of the chat group. After thinking about it, Li Hanyi also sent a message in the chat group. Li Hanyi, thank you for your welcome. At Xiaoxiao, Thank you for your introduction, Xiaoxiao. You're welcome. It seems that Ms. Li has confirmed the existence of the chat group. Li Hanyi? Yes. This is the first time I've seen such a thing as a chat group. I was a little bit skeptical before, but now I can basically confirm it. Mike Zuyan, I was like Miss Li at the beginning. I doubted the existence of the chat group and thought it was a trick played by someone in secret. Linking Zhu, when everyone first joined the chat group, they should have had similar reactions. Yan Lingjai, hee. I didn't. Brother Xiao Fan and Xiaoxiao also definitely didn't suspect that they were being plotted against. Yubuku, young Master Xiao and Ms. Su are both time travelers. They have learned about chat groups and various novel plots before. It is reasonable that they can quickly accept the existence of the 10,000 Worlds chat group. Miss Yan Lingjai's situation is a bit surprising. Huang Rong, if you ask me, it must be because Yan Lingjai is too heartless. Smirk. Yan Lingjai, at Huang Rong, you are the one who is heartless. Knock, at Xiaoxiao, do you know the situation of the two newcomers? I am a little curious. Zhang Yuan, I am also curious. I wonder which novel or film and television Miss Li and Mr. Luo are characters from. Xiaoxiao, of course I know, the place where Miss Li is called Xui City. She is the second city lord of Xui City. At that moment, Xiaoxiao just described the general situation of Li Hanyi in the world of juvenile song, Xui City. Li Hanyi looked at the conversations of several people in the chat group, especially Xiaoxiao's introduction, and her expression suddenly changed, because, although Xiaoxiao's description of her things could not be said to be 100% accurate, it was not far off. In the world of devouring stars, in the Jiangnan city prison, Luo Feng looked at the news and the chat group and was also surprised. What surprised Luo Feng was what Zhang Yuan said, that he and Li Hanyi might be characters in novels or films. This made Luo Feng a little difficult to accept for a while. Luo Feng, at Zhang Yuan, what do you mean by what you said just now? You said that Ms. Li and I are characters in novels or movies, not real people? Zhang Yuan, I don't understand this either. Qi World, Lei. In the backyard room of Wanbao auction house, Xiao Fan saw Luo Feng's message and couldn't help laughing. Xiao Fan, at Luo Feng, who can tell the difference between reality and illusion. In fact, there is no need to tell the difference. Perhaps, in a certain world, someone is watching our story, and all of us are illusions in their eyes. But, from our own perspective, can we say that we are illusions? Obviously not. Yan Lingjai, Brother Xiao Fan's words sound very profound. Xiao Fan, actually, they are not profound. In your respective worlds, even if there are no novels or movies, there must be some story circulating. The characters in the story seem to you to be illusions now, but in this story, they are real. We are all real in our own world, but we may also become illusionary characters in the story in the future. Luo Feng, I roughly understand what Master Xiao said. I have also read some movies and novels. They may be unreal from our perspective, but they are real to the people in the movies and movies. Xiao Fan, there is no need to worry about these things. Just live your life normally. Xiaoxiao, Lord Thunder Emperor is right. At Luo Feng, do you want to know your original life trajectory? Luo Feng, at Xiaoxiao, if possible, I would like to know. In that case, I can take fewer detours and avoid dangerous situations. Xiaoxiao, at Luo Feng, your life trajectory is actually quite magnificent. Devouring the starry sky world, Jiangnan city prison. Luo Feng was very surprised when he watched Xiaoxiao's story. He didn't expect that there would be so many shocking events in his future. However, what made Luo Feng a little unhappy was that he turned into a star beast. For most people, turning from a human into a beast would not be considered a good thing. After adjusting his mood, Luo Feng directly replied to Xiaoxiao in the group. Luo Feng, at Xiaoxiao, thank you Miss Su. Xiaoxiao, you're welcome. Xiao Fan, at Li Hanyi, at Luo Feng, your previous destiny will change to varying degrees after you join the Swanji chat group. So, you only need to use the previous destiny as a reference, and don't take it too seriously. Luo Feng, I see, thank you. Li Hanyi, thank you. Xiao Fan, You're welcome. We are all friends because we have the chance to join the group. Helping each other is the purpose of this group. By the way, I want to go to your world to play. Is it convenient now? Luo Feng, ahem. I'm sorry, I'm in prison now. I think it's better for you to come after I get out of prison. Xiao Fan, I remember that in your world, as long as you become a formal warrior, you can have many privileges. I'll give you some points first. You can go to the mall to choose the right items and become a real warrior as soon as possible. Luo Feng's exclusive red envelope. Luo Feng, at Xiao Fan, thank you, Mr. Xiao. Then I'm not polite. Luo Feng received Xiao Fan's red envelope and got 10,000 points. Luo Feng, thank you again, Master Xiao. Xiao Fan, it's a small matter. When you become stronger, you will find that 10,000 points are nothing. Xiao Fan, at Li Hanyi, as the group leader, I will give both newcomers some welcome gifts. Li Hanyi's exclusive red envelope. Li Hanyi received Xiao Fan's red envelope and received 10,000 points. Li Hanyi, thank you, Master Xiao. Xiaoxiao, Lord Thunder Emperor, you are still as generous as before. Worship, Yan Lingjai. Worship Brother Xiao Fan. Worship, Wan Wan. Worship Lord Thunder Emperor. Xiao Fan, okay, stop making trouble. I gained a lot from this retreat. I will send out a red envelope to celebrate. The quick ones will win. Grab it now. Red envelope. Yan Lingjai received Xiao Fan's red envelope and received 1,000 points. Tu Shan Honglong received Xiao Fan's red envelope and received 1,200 points. Soon, all the red envelopes sent by Xiao Fan were snatched up. Then, everyone thanked Xiao Fan one after another. After the excitement, Xiao Fan asked Li Hanyi again. This time, Li Hanyi hesitated for a moment, but still agreed. Afterwards, Xiao Fan traveled to the world of Xiao Nianxing through the chat group. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 197 New Sign In. Li Hanyi is shocked. In the world of young songs, Snow Moon City. After Li Hanyi invited Xiao Fan in the chat group, she carefully observed the surroundings, wanting to see how Fan would arrive. Suddenly, Li Hanyi discovered that a mysterious illusory light gate appeared in the sky not far from her. A handsome young man in a green shirt stepped out of the illusory light gate. This young man was naturally Xiao Fan, who came from the Qi world. Xiao Fan moved slightly, and landed in front of Li Hanyi from midair, smiling and saying, "This must be Miss Li, she seems to be much more beautiful than I imagined." Li Hanyi said calmly, "Mr. Xiao, you are too kind." Xiao Fan said, "I am not unfamiliar with the name of Xui City, but this is my first time to visit it, so I'll trouble Miss Li to be my guide." Li Hanyi said softly, "No trouble, Mr. Xiao, please follow me." Xiao Fan nodded slightly, and walked out of the city lord's mansion with Li Hanyi, ready to visit the first city of Apocalypse described in the anime of the previous life. While walking out of the city lord's mansion, Xiao Fan did not forget to give the system a sign-in instruction in his mind. Xiao Fan had just given the system a sign-in instruction, and the familiar voice of the system rang in his mind again. Ding! Sign-in successful. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained the wind, flower, snow and moon technique. Wind, flower, snow and moon technique? What kind of skill is this? Hearing the content of the system reward, Xiao Fan couldn't help but be slightly stunned. However, now is not a good time to check the system reward. Xiao Fan plans to wait until he and Li Hanyi part ways before checking what this Feng Wuxui Wagong is. "Mr. Xiao, what's wrong?" Li Hanyi, who was beside Xiao Fan, saw that Xiao Fan seemed to be distracted and asked casually. Xiao Fan shook his head slightly. "Nothing, I was just thinking, I don't know how many years it is in Ming now. If I knew the corresponding year, maybe I could remind you of something and avoid the original tragedy." "Thank you for your kindness, Mr. Xiao." Li Hanyi thanked him, and then said, "Now it is the 16th year of Ming. The current Emperor Ming has been on the throne for 16 years. 8 years have passed since the demon cult's eastern expedition." Xiao Fan's heart moved slightly when he heard this. The 16th year of Ming. This year, There really is a big event, and it is closely related to you. Miss Li, how is your mother now? When Li Hanyi heard what Xiao Fan said, she immediately understood that what Xiao Fan was talking about should be related to her mother, and said nervously, I don't know what Mr. Xiao is talking about, but will my mother be in danger? Xiao Fan nodded slightly. Yes, it is indeed related to your mother. It seems that there is still time. The biggest event in the 16th year of Ming is the rebellion of Prince Lanya. In the original fate, the king of Lanya was sentenced to death, and your mother didn't want to see the king of Lanya being killed, so she chose to rob the execution ground in Tanqi City. But unfortunately, your mother was defeated by the 5 eunuchs of the previous term and was seriously injured. She died not long after leaving Tanqi City. Li Hanyi's face changed immediately after hearing this. Mr. Zhao, is what you said true? Xiao Fan said, this is just the original fate of your mother. Now that you know this, you can naturally change your mother's fate. Excuse me. As soon as Xiao Fan finished speaking, Li Hanyi suddenly used her body skills and rushed towards the direction of Tanqi City, leaving behind 3 cold words. Xiao Fan shook his head slightly when he saw this, and his figure flashed. In an instant, he caught up with Li Hanyi and stopped her. What do you mean? Li Hanyi's face changed slightly, and her voice was a little cold. When it came to her mother's safety, Li Hanyi had lost her composure at this moment. Xiao Fan said, my speed should be faster. I can take you for a ride. Li Hanyi's expression relaxed when he heard Xiao Fan's words. Thank you very much. If you can save my mother, I will remember your kindness today. Xiao Fan said casually, let's not talk about this for now. Please point out the direction of Tanqi City and the approximate distance. I am going to use a space magic to take you there, which will be faster. When Li Hanyi heard what Xiao Fan said, although he didn't understand what was going on, he still gave an accurate answer. After getting Li Hanyi's answer, Xiao Fan waved his right hand and tore the space in front of them, forming a simple space wormhole. Li Hanyi looked at this scene and was shocked. Tearing the space is simply a magical method for Li Hanyi and the people in the world of Xiaoyanxing. Excuse me, Xiao Fan said to Li Hanyi, and then put his arm around Li Hanyi's waist and stepped directly into the space wormhole. Li Hanyi was suddenly held by Xiao Fan's waist. She subconsciously resisted, but she quickly suppressed it. Looking at the cracks in the space around her, her scalp tingled and she involuntarily moved closer to Xiao Fan. We're here. Li Hanyi was almost clinging to Xiao Fan. She was in a very complicated mood, and suddenly heard Xiao Fan's voice. Li Hanyi quickly let go of Xiao Fan. Her face flushed. Xiao Fan said, because I have never been to Tanqi City, there may be some deviations. Look at the current location, and then we will rush to Tanqi City as soon as possible. Hearing Xiao Fan's words, Li Hanyi quickly restrained her thoughts, took a look at the surrounding environment, and then said, this is already the southern suburbs of Tanqi City. When she spoke, Li Hanyi was also very shocked. If she came from Xui City by herself, I am afraid that it would take 10 days or half a month at full speed. But now, under the leadership of Xiao Fan, it only took a moment for her to rush from Xui City to the outside of Tanqi City. It was really incredible. Xiao Fan naturally didn't know the shock in Li Hanyi's heart. After hearing what Li Hanyi said, he nodded and said, that's good. Let's go. We will go to Tanqi City now. Li Hanyi had no objection to this. Immediately, the two of them quickly went to Tanqi City together. Not long after, the two of them entered Tanqi City. After entering the city, Xiao Fan asked, do you have any way to contact your mother? Li Hanyi shook his head and said, no. Xiao Fan pondered for a moment, and said slowly, if that's the case, we can only wait until the day when King Lanya is executed. Your mother will definitely appear at the execution ground on that day. Li Hanyi said, this is the only way. I will ask someone to find out what the current situation of King Lanya's case is. At least we have to determine the date of King Lanya's execution. Okay. Xiao Fan nodded slightly, and then said, in fact, there is a more direct and effective method that should be able to completely resolve your mother's crisis. Li Hanyi hurriedly said, I don't know what method it is, please give me some advice, Master Zhao. Xiao Fan smiled and said, that is, we go directly to the heavenly prison and rescue King Lanya Zhaoruofeng, or even let King Lanya replace Emperor Ming and become the new emperor of the Apocalypse Empire. It's not impossible. It depends on what you want to choose. Chapter 198, Unique Practice, Practicing with Beauty. Li Hanyi pondered for a moment, then slowly said, "Let's wait until we find my mother and discuss it with her." Xiao Fan smiled. "Of course I don't care, then do as you think. The first step now is to find out the date of the execution of King Lanya." Li Hanyi nodded slightly. "Well, my father had some friendship with the Imperial General Yi Zioying before he died. I plan to go to Yi's mansion to find Yi Zioying to find out." After making a decision, the two immediately headed towards the general's mansion. Not long after, Xiao Fan and Li Hanyi avoided the sight of the servants, sneaked into the mansion of General Yi Zioying, and found Yi Zioying. According to the information obtained from Yi Zioying, there are about 10 days left before the execution of King Lanya. After returning from Yi Mansion, Xiao Fan said, "Since it's still early, I'll go back first. When the day of the execution ground comes, please tell me in the chat group, and I can come again to help you." Li Hanyi said, "Thank you in advance, Mr. Zhao. If you need help, I'll contact you." Xiao Fan nodded slightly. "Okay, that's it. I'll go back first." After saying goodbye to Li Hanyi again, Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and he used the shuttle function of the chat group to return to the Qi world. After returning to the room in the Qi world, Xiao Fan took out the Fengwuxiuigong from the system space and carefully checked it. Not long after, Xiao Fan finished checking the content of Fengwuxiuigong. Fengwuxiu. So this is what it means. It can be used to help Xiaoxiao and Yafei improve their strength. After understanding this Fengwuxiuigong, Xiao Fan shook his head with some amusement. The so-called Fengwuxiuigong is actually a double cultivation method. Practicing this method can improve the cultivation strength of both parties at the same time. In the process of practicing together, the amplification effect is more significant for the party with weaker cultivation. For the time being, this method is equivalent to a method prepared for his women, and the amplification effect on Xiao Fan may be relatively limited. However, even if the amplification of each woman to Xiao Fan is limited, if the number of women practicing this method with Xiao Fan increases, it can also have a significant effect. In addition, if Xiao Fan has a woman with the same strength as him or stronger than him in the future, the amplification effect on him will be even stronger. After reading the introduction of Fengwuxiuigong, Xiao Fan was ready to find someone to try the effect first. Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and he directly used Yin Yang escape, flashed into the room where Xiaoxiao was, and then showed his figure. Because Xiao Fan did not deliberately hide, when he showed his figure, Xiaoxiao, who was resting, was awakened. Seeing that it was Xiao Fan, Xiaoxiao relaxed and said unhappily, "Why didn't you rest so late and sneak into someone else's room? I thought an enemy had broken in." Xiao Fan smiled and said, "I have just obtained a new technique, and I came here specially to pass it on to you. After practicing this technique, your cultivation will definitely improve faster." Xiaoxian's eyes lit up when she heard that. "Really? What technique?" Xiao Fan walked forward and sat beside Xiaoxian's bed, smiling. "This technique is called Fengwuxiuigong, and the specific method of practice is." Xiao Fan did not hide anything, and directly told Xiaoxian the method of practicing Fengwuxiuigong and the characteristics of the technique. "Bah, what kind of rogue practice technique is this? Are you deliberately deceiving me?" Xiaoxian's face flushed when she heard that, and she said with some suspicion. Xiao Fan held Xiaoxian in his arms and chuckled, "If I want to do that, do I need to use such a clumsy trick to deceive her? This technique is indeed introduced in this way. I haven't tried it yet. Why don't we try the effect of this technique now? Anyway, there is no loss, right?" Xiaoxian struggled a little reservedly. "No, let me go. I don't want to practice this rogue technique." Xiao Fan straightened Xiaoxian and said seriously, "Don't make trouble. I will teach you the technique first. Don't remember it wrong. Otherwise there will be any bad situation later." After that, Xiao Fan taught Xiaoxian the content of Fengwuxiuigong. Although Xiaoxian blushed, she still listened carefully to Xiao Fan's teaching of the technique. After the technique was taught, Xiao Fan said, "I will practice the technique first, and then you follow my route of practice and cooperate with each other." Xiao Fan only needs to practice the technique rewarded by the system once to master it, so he is not worried about problems with his route of practice. Xiaoxiao nodded softly when she heard Xiao Fan's words. Xiao Fan immediately stopped hesitating and carefully operated the root of Feng Shui Gong. Then he and Xiaoxiao faced each other with forepalms, and the fighting spirit entered Xiaoxian's body and operated according to a specific route. Under Xiao Fan's guidance, Xiaoxiao soon mastered the root of Feng Shui Gong. Gradually, the two people's exercise formed a closed loop. As the two people exercised, a circle of light pink mist suddenly appeared around their bodies, covering them. The whole mist was like a huge lotus, and each petal looked very moving, constantly absorbing the fighting spirit scattered between heaven and earth. From the lotus petals, light pink mist continued to flow into Xiao Fan and Xiaoxian's body. Unconsciously, Xiao Fan and Xiaoxian's skin were also covered with a layer of light pink, and the room gradually became warm like spring. Xiao Fan and Xiaoxiao also became thirsty at the same time, and subconsciously regarded each other as some special source. Perhaps the temperature rose a little too high, or perhaps some factor in the body was activated. The two gradually began to stop restraining themselves and started to tear each other apart. In the fight, the clothes gradually tore apart. A chant sounded, foreshadowing the start of a new battle of creation. In this battle, Xiaoxian's cultivation aura was constantly increasing. 7-star Huang early stage, 7-star Huang middle stage, 7-star Huang late stage. 9-star Huang peak, 1-star Duzong early stage. Unknowingly, Xiaoxian's cultivation was actually upgraded from the previous 7-star Huang to the realm of 1-star Duzong. However, at this time, Xiaoxiao did not care about the joy of the improvement of her cultivation, but immersed herself in the battle. This battle not only did not make Xiaoxiao feel tired, but she became more and more energetic, and her body and soul seemed to have been sublimated in some way. After an unknown amount of time, Xiaoxiao felt that Xiao Fan's attack was getting stronger and stronger. She was finally unable to bear it and fell down powerlessly beside Xiao Fan. At this moment, Xiao Fan also transformed into a sage. Although he was honest with Xiaoxiao, he did not do anything out of the ordinary. He just held her in his arms and slept with her. There was no conversation that night. Knock knock knock. The next morning, Xiao Fan and Xiaoxiao slowly woke up to the sound of a crisp knock on the door. Chapter 199 Master Xiao Fan, I am here to practice martial arts with you. After waking up, Xiaoxiao was a little nervous and whispered to Xiao Fan, "You go back first." Xiao Fan chuckled and said, "What's there to worry about? Anyway, everyone already knows the relationship between you and me." Xiaoxiao said coquettishly, "I don't care, you go back now. Otherwise I will be angry." Xiao Fan shrugged slightly, okay. While talking, Xiao Fan quickly dressed up, attacked Xiaoxiao again, and then performed yin-yang escape and quickly returned to his room. Wait a moment, I'll be there soon. After Xiao Fan left, Xiaoxiao responded to the door, then quickly dressed up, went forward to open the door, but it was Xiao Wu who was standing at the door. "Sister Xiaoxiao, why did you wake up so long today? I didn't see you go to have breakfast, and I thought you were not feeling well," Xiao Wu said with concern when she saw Xiaoxiao coming out. After Xiao Wu came to the Qi world, in addition to Xiao Fan, the person she was most familiar and closest to was Xiaoxiao. On weekdays, the two of them basically had meals together. If Xiao Wu goes out shopping or something, she is always with Xiaoxiao. This morning, when Xiao Wu was eating, she didn't see Xiaoxiao, so she took the initiative to find her. Xiaoxiao blushed when she heard this. "No, I just accidentally overslept." Xiao Wu blinked and said, "Sister Xiaoxiao, why is your face so red? Are you really uncomfortable?" Xiaoxiao said, "No, I'm just a little hot." "Okay, let's go have breakfast." After that, Xiaoxiao took Xiao Wu and walked out. Xiao Wu looked at Xiaoxiao's room, and a look of suspicion flashed in her eyes. Suddenly she thought of something and said with a red face, "Was it Brother Xiao Fan who was in your room last night?" So you got up late." Xiaoxiao denied, "Don't talk nonsense." "No, I know." Xiao Wu smiled mischievously when she heard this, and didn't ask any more questions, but she already had the answer in her heart. On the other side, after Xiao Fan returned to the room, He pondered for a while and found the Skyfire Venerable Yao Tanhao again. "Mr. Zhao, what do you want me to do?" Yao Tanhao asked politely when he saw Xiao Fan coming. Xiao Fan said, "I am going to unify the entire northwest continent. You should first take the lead and annex all the forces in the Black Horn region in the name of Thunder City. Anyway, these guys in the Black Horn region are not good people. If we take strong measures, those who obey will prosper and those who resist will perish." Yao Tanhao said, "Then should I take the initiative to kill all the forces in the Black Horn region and make them surrender one by one?" Xiao Fan pondered for a moment and said slowly, "How about this? I will let Yif convene a Black Horn region alliance conference in the name of Thunder City, and directly gather the leaders of all forces to Thunder City. When the time comes, you will come forward and shock them all into submission." "No problem." Yao Tanhao agreed without hesitation after hearing this, and then said with some concern, "However, these people in the Black Horn region are all cruel and ruthless. Even if they agree to surrender on the surface because of my strength, I am afraid they will not be very honest behind the scenes." Xiao Fan smiled faintly. "No problem. After integrating the various forces in the Black Horn region, we will take them to conquer the 6 of the countries in the northwest continent. Those who obey will prosper and those who disobey will perish. In the process of the war, we will gradually select the available people. As for those who have ulterior motives, just let them perish in the process of the war." Yao Tanhao nodded and said, "Since young Master Zhao has considered it carefully, I will just take action." Xiao Fan smiled and said, "Then it's settled. I will go to find you first to confirm the matter of the Black Horn Region Alliance Conference. Young Master Zhao, take care," Yao Tanhao said politely after hearing this. Xiao Fan nodded slightly, and then went to find Yif. When Yif learned about Xiao Fan's plan, she was shocked. "Master Xiao Fan, are you really going to unify the entire northwest continent?" Xiao Fan smiled faintly and said, "Why? Is it impossible, or do you have no confidence in me?" Upon hearing this, Yif hurriedly said, "Of course I have confidence in Master Xiao Fan. I'm just a little surprised. In my impression, Master Xiao Fan doesn't seem to be a person who is keen on power." Xiao Fan said, "I don't care about it myself, but I plan to lay the foundation for the development of the Xiao family. There is no strong force in the northwest continent now, which can just serve as the base of the Xiao family in the future. In addition, after unifying the entire northwest continent, the auction house can also be opened larger. At that time, let the people of Zhongzhou also ask our Wanbao auction house to hold an auction. Among the 8 ancient clans, except for the Zhao clan, the other 7 clans have their own small worlds. Xiao Fan will naturally build the Zhao clan's small world in the future, but in addition to the small world, the outside world still needs to build a base, which can also serve as a place for the Xiao clan to train in the future. Among the ancient tribes, the Soul tribe is the fastest growing and developing, and the role played by the Soul Palace in the outside world cannot be ignored. Although the northwest continent seems a bit barren today, Xiao Fan believes that it will become the new center of the Qi continent in the future. Upon hearing this, Yif's eyes lit up immediately, and she took the initiative to kiss Xiao Fan, saying in a delicate voice, "Master Xiao Fan, you are so kind to me." After a pause, Yif continued, "However, it is not easy to summon the leaders of the various forces in the Black Horn territory to participate in the Black Horn Territory Alliance Conference. I am afraid that the leaders of the various forces in the Black Horn territory do not want to join this alliance." Xiao Fan said, "I naturally thought of this. The world is bustling for profit, and the world is bustling for profit. Therefore, I plan to use the Huangjai pill as a bargaining chip to attract these forces. All the leaders of the forces who come to participate in the Black Horn Territory Alliance Conference can get a Huangjai pill." Upon hearing this, Yif was shocked. "Master Xiao Fan, do we really have to give those people the Huangjai pill?" Xiao Fan nodded and said, "Yes, it is the Huangjai pill. However, you don't need to invite all the forces in the Black Horn domain. You only need to invite 6 of them. These 6 forces must first have a Huang, and secondly, they must not be the kind of forces that will incur the wrath of heaven and the resentment of the people." Yif said, "Master Xiao Fan, do you mean that after we convene the Black Horn Domain Alliance Conference to form an alliance, We will directly swallow up the other forces? Xiao Fan smiled slightly. That's what you mean. We can't let them get such a great benefit of the Huangjai pill for nothing, right? Yif nodded and said, I understand. Xiao Fan said, well, besides this, there is another thing. What is it? Yif blinked and asked curiously. Xiao Fan smiled and said, I got a set of skills that can help you improve your strength quickly. Come to my room tonight and I will teach you this unique skill. Yif was a little suspicious and said, why at night? If Master Xiao Fan wants someone else, there is no need to be so troublesome and make excuses. Pa. Xiao Fan slapped Yif on the buttocks and said unhappily, do I need to make excuses? I said I would teach you the skills. You will know it in the evening. Oh, okay, I was wrong, Yif said with a tearful voice as she heard it. Xiao Fan waved his hand and said, okay, you go and do your work first. Remember to come to my room in the evening. Yeah, Yif agreed, and said goodbye to Xiao Fan to go to the auction house. Time passed quickly. Soon it was evening. After Xiao Fan had dinner and returned to his room, Yif came to Xiao Fan's room with great anticipation. Master Xiao Fan, I am here to practice with you. Yif opened her red lips and said in a soft voice, the last chapter was blocked, so I'll just write this chapter briefly. I'm so scared. Chapter 200, The Beauty of Passing On Skills. Luo Feng's invitation. This night passed slowly as Xiao Fan and Yif practiced. After a night of practice, both of them were refreshed, and Yif's cultivation level was raised from the previous 3-starred Huang to the 7-starred Huang realm. This surprised Yif. The next morning, when the morning light shone into the room through the window, Xiao Fan and Yif also woke up slowly. Morning, Master Xiao Fan. Yif took the initiative to kiss Xiao Fan on the cheek, and said in a numb voice. Xiao Fan smiled and said, well, good morning. Yif sensed the status of her own cultivation and said with some joy, did I really break through to the 7-starred Huang? Last night, I thought I was dreaming. Xiao Fan said, of course it is true. I said that this new technique can help you improve your cultivation quickly. At first you said that I was kidding you. Yif stuck out her tongue and said in a delicate voice, I'm sorry, I wronged young Master Xiao Fan. Young Master Xiao Fan, when will we practice again next time? If we can improve 4 small realms at a time, I feel that even the legendary D can have hope. Upon hearing this, Xiao Fan tapped Yif on the forehead and said, you have a nice idea, but this method can only give the greatest improvement for the first time. Although you can improve it by continuing to practice, the span will not be such a big one. Is that so? Yif was a little disappointed upon hearing this, but soon said, even so, I am very satisfied. If it weren't for young Master Xiao Fan, I'm afraid I would still be a small fighter now, and the Qi realm would be good at most. Xiao Fan said, since you're my woman now, I will not treat you badly. Besides, we can practice more in the future. Even if we don't improve as much as the first time, it is still much more efficient than the usual practice. Yif smiled coquettishly, okay, I don't mind practicing with Master Xiao Fan every day. It's enjoyable and can improve my strength. Of course, I am very happy about this. However, I am afraid that Master Xiao Fan will be too busy. After all, you only have one. Yif grabbed a certain part of Xiao Fan and moved her tongue slightly, provocatively. Xiao Fan sneered, it seems that you deserve to be punished. You dare to provoke me so early in the morning. Yif pretended to beg for mercy. I didn't. Not long after, Xiao Fan and Yif practiced Feng Wuxui Weigong again, and the room soon became warm like spring. The day after practicing with Yif, Xiao Fan practiced Feng Wuxui Weigong with Zhao Wu, which improved Zhao Wu's cultivation to the 7-starred Huang realm. On this day, Zi Yan and King Lin also came out of Canaan College and came to Wanbao auction house. Seeing that Zhao Yixian, Yif and Zhao Wu's cultivation had improved a lot, Zi Yan was immediately surprised. When Zi Yan asked the 3 women, they were all evasive and did not say it clearly. Later, Yif directly asked Zi Yan to find Xiao Fan. Brother Xiao Fan, did you refine some good elixir again? Why didn't you leave it for me? You are biased. Zi Yan took King Lin to find Xiao Fan and said with a pout. King Lin just stood quietly beside Xiao Fan and did not speak. Xiao Fan heard Zi Yan's words and said with a smile, you think too much. I haven't made any pills to improve my strength recently. You also know about the pills for Huang realm. The cultivation of Yif, Xiao and Xiao Wu has improved because they practiced a special technique. Zhu Yan immediately said, "This technique must have been taught to them by you, brother Xiao Fan. King Lin and I also want to learn it," as if she was worried that Xiao Fan would refuse. Zhu Yan deliberately pulled King Lin along. Xiao Fan shrugged slightly. "This technique is a bit special. You two have to wait 2 years before you can practice it." Zhu Yan said unhappily. "Why do you have to wait 2 years?" King Lin was also a little curious. Xiao Fan said, "Well, the technique has limitations. You have to be 18 years old to practice it, otherwise, we might all be wiped out by an invisible force of rules." Zhu Yan blinked and said, 18 years old? I've already passed that age. If you really want to count, I'm older than you. Xiao Fan was stunned when he heard that. Huh? It seems to be true, but this technique is a little special. Are you sure you want to practice it? Zhu Yan asked curiously. What's special about it? King Lin, go to the side first. Xiao Fan did not answer Zhu Yan directly, but told King Lin, yes, young master. King Lin was a little puzzled, but still agreed very obediently, and then left the two of them. Xiao Fan leaned close to Zhu Yan's ear and whispered to her about the practice of Fengwei Sui Gong. Brother Xiao Fan, you are so mean. I won't pay attention to you. After listening to Xiao Fan's story, Zhu Yan's eyes widened, her cute face was covered with blushes, and she left in a hurry. Although Zhu Yan now looks like a 13 or 14-year-old girl, her mind has long been mature. When she heard Xiao Fan's cultivation method, she was a little shy. Xiao Fan watched Zhu Yan leave, smiled and shook his head, and did not force her. He found King Lin and told him to go back with Zhu Yan first, and then told Yuf, and then broke through the void and left Lei. Xiao Fan was preparing to go to the Tiger Desert first to find Queen Medusa. Speaking of which, he and Queen Medusa Kailin have not seen each other for quite a long time. Now that there is a benefit, Xiao Fan will certainly not forget Kailin. Xiao Fan naturally didn't know that after he left, Zhu Yan found Zhao Yixian, Yif and Zhao Wu again, and carefully verified the authenticity of the Fengwei Sui method. Why are you here? In the Snakeman King's city, Kailin saw Xiao Fan suddenly appear, although she was a little happy in her heart, but on the surface she looked arrogant. Xiao Fan smiled and said, I missed you, so I came to see you. And of course, our baby daughter. Kailin rolled her eyes at Xiao Fan. You're so smooth talking. As she spoke, Kailin subconsciously reached out and touched her belly, with a maternal glow on her face. As time passed, Kailin could also sense the extra breath of tender life in her belly. Xiao Fan talked to Kailin for a while, and then told her about the Fengwei Sui Gong. Kailin was naturally a little skeptical at first, but after practicing with Xiao Fan, she felt that her cultivation level had increased from a 4-star zong to a 6-star zong, and she no longer had any doubts. After more than 3 hours, the two finally finished their practice. Kailin lay in Xiao Fan's arms and asked with some suspicion, where did you get this rogue technique? Xiao Fan said casually, I got it by accident. How can it be called a rogue technique? This technique is beneficial to the body and mind when practiced, and it can also improve strength. It is obviously an excellent technique. Kailin rolled her eyes at Xiao Fan, and lay quietly in Xiao Fan's arms without saying anything else. Next, Xiao Fan spent a few days of peace and warmth with Kailin in the king city of the snake people, and then tried to practice new techniques with Yun Yun, Huang Rong, and Xiaoxiao. If you have good things, you naturally have to share them with your woman, right? After working hard for several days in a row, Xiao Fan finally finished his business, so he returned to Lei and prepared to wait for the leaders of various forces in the Black Horn region to come to Lei. Not long after Xiao Fan returned to Lei, the message reminder of the chat group suddenly rang in his mind again. Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and he sank his consciousness into the chat group interface. It turned out that Luo Feng had become a formidable warrior and was released from prison. He invited him to visit the Devouring Star World. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.